If you don't stay down and you never quit, come on over here and sit on the far end of the bench.
I am hoping there we go. I got the old school mic going, so I got to make sure I remember where the button is because the button is in a different place. But I hope everybody is ready. I hope everybody's stretched, limbered up. If you're just joining us, if you're just finding us, thank you for tuning in to the Far End of the Bench podcast, episode 279. We have a lot to get to. We had UFC on the freaking White House lawn. Not only UFC, we'll talk about the other stuff that went on, kind of give a story as to what was going on this weekend, but we have that. We have World Cup. USA started off absolutely on fire. And as one of the host nations, Nico was at a World Cup game, so we'll be able to get to hear what that was like. We'll also talk about the final series. Both finals are over, so we are officially into summer. The sports calendar has flipped. We are going to celebrate our 6th sports calendar that we've had a podcast. And moving from there, we'll have our verses, which is, I think, going to be a lot of fun. Our Dream Music Festival battles. So Dream Music Festival lineups, if you have an opinion one way or the other, we do post these on our social media, so follow us at FEOTB Pod, subscribe to our YouTube channel, make sure that you're voicing your opinion. Let us know in the comments what your festival would have been, but that's what we have in store for you before we finish up with player and benchwarmer of the week. Nico, I see the Deutschland scarf. That's good? That's good.
That's very good. That's very good.
When I was just gonna say, when you had the matchup, Germany versus Curacao, I was like, Nico's gonna see 45 goals.
And it was great. And I will say this, it was fantastic. Because for the casual viewer, like myself, and like I said, I'm not gonna call myself like a avid football watcher, okay? Like I'll watch every now and then, but like when there's other sports on, it's not the number one watch, okay? It's not. But when the World Cup's on, that's a different story, okay? And everyone knows anything about soccer and everything, and they wear these scarves. So I had to get myself one. Went to 4 different ones because they ran out of Deutschland ones. I finally found the World Cup official one. On top of lots of other merch, including the World Cup 26 one I got, sure, here. Lots of other crap, jerseys, everything. Yeah, I mean, like, it was an unreal experience. Let me put it that way. The ticket was well worth it. Yes, it was a 7-1 blowout. If you're a casual fan like myself, you want to see goal, 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 goal. That's exactly what I saw.
And you want your other team, because you're an American, you're rooting for Team USA, but you want your other team to show that, hey, we can make an actual run, and they should have beat Curacao 7-1.
Exactly.
You're worth like 3 coconuts. You are an amazing Little League baseball team. You're not even a full country. Congratulations on making this expanded tournament. But Deutschland is about to show you, Germany is about to show you why they're a World Cup favorite and you are not.
Why Die Mannschaft is legendary. Curacao is their first ever World Cup game. And I will say, like, in terms of viewing experiences, that's an all-timer for me. Like that's an all-time viewing experience. Because like I said, I took a little German in high school. I'm not great. I don't speak fluent at all. I probably couldn't put more than 10 sentences together if I was lucky. But I know the language and I know a lot of the words. And
your mom does speak it fluently.
My mom speaks fluently too. So like I know when people are talking and what they're talking about, but I just don't know how to respond in German. So being able to hear all the German music, hear all the German speaking individuals around.
Did you get in on some of the chants?
Oh yeah, I mean the big one was yelling Deutschland at the top of your lungs at least over and over and over and over again, which is very easy to follow. So I didn't have too much problems with that.
Deutschland.
There was when I walked in, it was. I'm glad I went as early as I did. I woke up at 6:30 for a fucking game at noon. Let me put it that way. I was so excited and I didn't want to miss anything. So I woke up at 6:30. I was like, I got to get there by 9. I got to make sure I'm there. I make sure I'm all set. And by 6:30, I woke up and I left the hotel around 8 a.m. and I was like, this is way too fucking early. So I went to the Fan Fest, walked to, and it was closed. Luckily, I went to it the day before, but it wasn't open yet. So I sat in a coffee shop with about 1,000 other Germans, just people watching and drinking coffee, okay? Probably had the sweetest coffee drink of everyone sitting there because they like their coffee nice and dark. And then I go to the match, and we're at Houston where the Texans play, which is like a very, very cool stadium. But it's a beautiful stadium, but by no means is it cream of the crop in terms of stadiums in the United States. But that stadium was beautiful, and I luckily was smart, and I figured out the side that Germany was on. So I was right on the side of all the fans, the whole wall that went from the very bottom of the goal all the way up to the top. That whole section behind was standing up.
So
I was
it
off
general
the side.
admission?
No, it wasn't general admission. It was an actual ticket. But I kind of guessed because I was like, okay, the Germany bench is this side, so I would assume it's on that side. Well, it worked out. I assumed correctly, and we were on that side, so it made it a little bit easier. But I was luckily a section over too, so I could sit down for the whole 90 minutes and not be standing the whole time. So it worked out nicely. But
96 minutes. Remember, they have the 3-minute hydration breaks in each half.
That's true. 96 minutes and plus however much extra time for guys flopping. Sorry, not flopping. The correct words. Oh, what was the correct word they called?
Embellishment.
No. They had somewhere player. Oh my gosh, this is going to
theatrics.
No, it was something out of this world. But it was one experience that like. I'm not gonna lie, cost a little bit of money, not as much as a USA ticket would cost. Is all I'm gonna say.
There were 75,000 other people at the USA game.
Yeah, so I mean, I was there with 68,000 at this game. It was one of the most well attended games, at least for the first round of countries that aren't near. I mean, Curacao is not far from here, but Germany is obviously nowhere near Houston. But it was very, very cool, and the experience was special.
Thank God the Germans got an indoor type stadium because I couldn't imagine them in the Houston sun in the middle of June.
It rained. It rained in the morning, so it was extra humid in the morning as I was walking in the stadium, and I felt it. And I was like, "My gosh, I would have been screwed. I was sweating out of places I didn't know I could sweat out of." And luckily, when I walked in, it was nice, cool breeze, and it was very funny. Because for those who've been following along, there's this Twitter guy called Freddie, who's this German who's experienced a bunch of American things for the first time.
Waffle House at 1 a.m.
Waffle House, 1 a.m., Buc-ee's, New Orleans.
7-Eleven double gulp. That was the guy that I was quoting last week. He's like, oh my God, there's so much soda.
Exactly. Just experiencing it all for the first time. He was at the match. Well, he walks to the stadium and he's like, fuck, it's cold in here. I'm like, you have no idea. We're us Americans are enjoying the heck out of this, as opposed to Germans, which have Europe has no what's it called? No
their buildings have their plumbing. That was the one thing that I learned about Europeans. So when we went to China, we stayed on the same floor as Team Austria. And first off, the biggest culture shock is in China, they don't have toilet seats. Everybody's supposed to squat. So they went to Walmart the night before as we were sleeping and got us some like camping porta potties so we can at least sit down. The Europeans don't flush their toilet paper because their plumbing is from the 600s. Like they don't have the ability of flushing toilet paper. So the Austrians would wipe their ass and throw it in the trash can in the corner of the bathroom. They don't have the ability of putting air conditioning in any of their buildings because, again, they were all built in like 1775 and 16. The reason why we're talking about the 250th celebration of America is because we were the first one to stand up to this giant bully from this little teeny tiny island in the middle of the Atlantic. It's like, hey, you don't own us anymore. You're going to tax our tea? Yeah, F that with authority.
Yeah, so I finally found it. For those that didn't know the name of the flopping rule is called mistaken identity.
Are they James Bond?
I think it wasn't the U.S. game. I think it was the Mexico game, the very first game of the tournament. I watched it, and they said mistaken identity. I was like, what the fuck are they looking at? And they showed the replay. I was like, oh, the guy flopped. They call it flopping. Mistaken identity is flopping. And I was like, what in the world do we have here? I mean, it's a whole different world. And like I said, I mean, I've never been to Europe that I remember, at least. I was very little when I did. And I've always wanted to go to a English soccer game, a German soccer game, and all that. And World Cup was a bucket list of mine. Every 4 years I watch it. I have my Germany jersey on. When Italy's in it, I have the Italian jersey on. They haven't been in it in 12 years, okay? I'm sorry. My Italian
damn it, Bosnia. You couldn't have just given us
exactly. Not my fault. I'm sorry. And it was just a one-on-one experience. It's so special. It's so cool. And I will say, like, walking around the fan festival, walking around the stadium, everything, man, like seeing the culture, seeing everything diverse. Like, obviously we're in the United States. I can count the time on my hand that I saw United States jerseys. I'm dead serious. It's like obviously the U.S. wasn't playing those days. Okay, so that makes sense. And obviously the watch party for the Brazilian game, for the Ecuador game.
There was a watch party I passed on Saturday in the middle of downtown Denver during I think it was Colombia and whoever game, and it was like, there's a ton of people just downtown Denver watching FIFA.
Watching it. It's great. And like I said, I didn't see many jerseys, U.S. jerseys. There wasn't many available to buy because I think they were all sold out. But it was cool. It was a great culture, and seeing all the different jerseys, it was so much fun. Because like I said, I mean, being in a city where Germany was playing, obviously Germany jerseys were everywhere. Curacao jerseys were everywhere. Shout out to the Blue Wall. They had their own T-shirts.
Hey, there's 160,000 of them. They better
great.
show out.
They showed out great, I will say, because I met some of those people. They're very nice. Their fans are great.
I should have given you the Papimiento greeting that you could have you could have ingratiated yourself to both sides.
It was I know it was 1-1 for at least 25 minutes there is all I'm going to say. So it was like nerve-wracking for a second there, and then obviously things blew up.
Goal
again.
What's again in German?
Oh fuck.
Or goal. Do you have either one?
Just goal.
Goal.
It's just goal. That's all it is. You said the goal. It's like you're spelling gabagool, but gabagool. Goal. All is what you gotta say. I mean, like, it was an incredible experience, and the fact it was 7 goals, I can't emphasize enough. Like, for the casual viewer, like the non-casual viewer would be like, why the fuck is Germany doing this again? It's 7-1. Stop beating them to a dead pulp. And I was like, well, for someone that paid a lot of money to go to this game, I saw a lot of goals.
Well, and by the way,
I'm not mad.
Goal differential is a tiebreaker. So if everybody ends up 1-1, but you won your game by 6 goals instead of 4, you have the higher seed when you get to the knockouts. It is much better to play as the 1 seed than the 2 seed, because I've seen some of the 2 seed matchup possibilities, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh shit. Like if the United States gets 2 out of their group, they're possibly going to play Britain on 4th of July.
Yeah, Britain, they could play Brazil, they could play Argentina, so there's a lot of different options.
But playing Britain on the 4th of July, this 250th 4th of July, I don't know if that would go in favor or against the Americans. We're saving, let's save some of the World Cup talk. We're going to get to the other American event that happened. If you ever wondered what it would be like if a 12-year-old became U.S. president, this weekend proved it. Because Saturday, Travis Pastrana was out on his ATV doing his tricks. It was his 80th birthday. That's what Trump is celebrating, plus the 250th birthday of the United States. The walk with Dana White and Trump out of the Oval Office into the South Lawn, and the spectacle that they created. I watched it. I didn't watch it live. I watched it back on Monday. I didn't get any of the entrances. I watched all those on social media, but damn it, that was. I'm not political. I'm not trying to make this a political thing, but if you can't acknowledge the fact, like Diego Lopes, have you seen the picture of Diego Lopes standing with his arm on top of the octagon after he knocked out his opponent, and he's standing on the top of the octagon, and his picture, it's his back with the crowd and then the White House in the far background. I'm like, that is, I would have that as my LinkedIn profile picture for the rest of time.
I don't look. You can hate Trump. You can and it is totally fair, right? You can like him, you can dislike him. Totally fair. Well, you can't totally not be fair and be like, wow, this isn't fucking sick. You cannot sit here and be like, I can't believe they did this. And yeah, is it a little childish and a little weird? Yeah, to see grown men and just boxers sparring
for my 80th birthday, for my 80th celebration of my life. I would like men in their underwear fighting on my south lawn of the White House.
And warming up in the Oval Office also, where I do all my meetings, important meetings too. Also,
the Justin Gates, you walk out of the Oval Office, that'll be
staring at the Declaration of Independence as he's about to walk in.
It's usually Rocky training in the wilderness of Rocky IV. Now it's Justin Gaethje staring at the Declaration of Independence. That is if you're gonna F with America, you're gonna find out real quick. Like, that is. You're dealing with this guy with leather skin on his face. Like, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but just the spectacle of it overall.
It's just incredible. And I mean, I don't know. I can't remember if we had a show when the first UFC card on the island happened, But I remember,
Yes,
I
we
remember,
did.
maybe we did. I couldn't remember. What the first one.
And we talked about it last week. We thought that it was going to be them on the beach in an octagon.
Yeah, exactly what we had in our heads. We were like, all right, on a beach, no one around, just them, the fighters, and just good old school fighting. And we were surely not given that. We were given a nice facility next to the beach.
We were given the Apex the Apex Center on the beach, the Saudi Arabian UFC Apex Center. They built a grand stage. They built that was WrestleMania. We just saw WrestleMania on the US White House South Lawn.
It was incredible. It was incredible, and it's a once in a lifetime thing that I was just. I mean, obviously I wasn't able to watch it because I was flying home during it, but like I was just so shocked and excited about how beautiful it was and how crazy it was, and like if you believe red, white, blue, how cool it was. Like I don't care what your political stance is, you have to sit there being like, holy shit, this is cool. And it's like if Sleepy Joe did this, okay, you all would have praised this, okay, is all I'm gonna say. But Joe doesn't like the UFC, so I'm sorry, and he doesn't have stocks in the UFC. Trump does. Sorry, but that just wouldn't have worked out that way. But I was just so impressed, and I mean I don't know if you saw the news that came out today. Also, a strike happened.
A strike where?
The FBI caught a strike that was going to happen. Where
I did see that. They had a couple things that they kept under wraps while everybody was there. Like they didn't want to cause a mass panic. No, I said like that was going to be the most strenuous event. If you were going to attend something live, that was going to be the hardest event to get into. That was going to be the hardest event to get out of. There is a big possibility that something wild might happen. I'm glad that nothing, they kept it the way that they did. They wanted a UFC event on the White House lawn. That's what they got. They were able to save everything till the outset. Again, say what you want about his politics, and I don't think that he's really going for unity, but the event that was put forth was there's signs of unity all over the place. The flyover at the beginning where Zach Brown Band is singing the national anthem, and the flyover, which is a conjoined flyover between the Air Force Thunderbirds and the Navy Blue Angels. Like you have the branches of the military coming together. You have all these people that are here. Like some of them voted for Trump. Some of them didn't. Basically everybody who was on the lawn was like his best friend because they, I follow Bussin' with the Boys pretty heavily, and I know you do too. And they were very close because they have a good relationship with him. And it was all of Trump's favorite fighters on the card. Real quickly,
it was also to add on to that, it was a bunch of international fighters too. Like obviously
the first fight was Diego Lopez versus Mikey Garcia, and Diego Lopez has American gold medalist wrestling champion David Taylor in his corner because he trains at Oklahoma State University. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, he's repping Brazil on the graphic, he's repping Mexico and the United States in the fight, and he knocked out somebody that we said was from America, but Diego Lopez. He's been living here and he trains in America, and he obviously he appreciates everything that.
So does Alex Pereira, right?
Yep.
So does Alex Pereira. So does Ilya Taporia. So does Cyril Gane, right? All these guys that were on the main card. The guy who Sean O'Malley fought was Canadian. Like you had a little bit of everything, which I think was a great representation of America. It's like you obviously have your Americans, but you have so many different cultures, and we get beat up a lot. We're not good at a lot of things, right? Sometimes you are the Alex Pereira versus Cyril Gane's, and you get hit in the head 30 times in the back of the head, and you lose. Okay?
What are you looking at? What are you looking at? Stop the fight. Please stop it.
It was such a cool event, and like I said, it's a once in a lifetime event that. I mean, I don't think it will ever happen again. Dana White joked after the fight, he's like, "I'm never going to financially recover from this." It's like, because apparently he was like, "Yeah, Trump asked me to do this again next year." He's like, "I don't know how I'm going to pay for the next event after paying for this." Okay, so we'll figure it out as we go.
And by the way, we're going to go. I'm going to run through the results real quick, and then we can kind of go where whichever fight kind of tickles whatever fancy that you have. But this was the best way that a card could have ever finished. All the fights ended in some sort of knockout, whether it's a walk-off salute knockout like Sugar Show, or if it's a TKO like Bo Nickel, but like every single one ended in the finish.
Or a guy tapping out on the stool because his face is so badly beaten.
I want to save that because I have never seen that's the most American propaganda that I've seen since Sylvester Stallone wrote down that he was going to defeat Ivan Drago in Rocky IV. And by the way, this wasn't scripted. Starting things off, Diego Lopes knocks out Steve Garcia. We have Lechona coming from the Oval Office. I don't know if you know Lechona, but as a wrestling coach, the team was always having the debates. Like, should we come out to Lechona? It's like only two of you have that kind of a background. Oh, yeah. It would make no sense. It's the whitest team ever running out to Lechona. But Diego Lopez runs out to Lechona. He knocks out Steve Garcia. Bo Nickel knocks out Kyle. I'm going to say Daukaus because I'm not going to pronounce it the other way. If I pronounce it the other way, it's the same as one of the concentration camps for World War II. So Kyle Daukaus. Mauricio Hufi knocks out Michael Chandler. I think that's the last time we're going to see Michael Chandler in a UFC octagon.
Yeah, Mike, do some jiu-jitsu, man. You're
don't stand there and just get freaking punched in the face.
He does the what's it called? The UFC like jiu-jitsu competitions. Like they have like jiu-jitsu events. I can't remember the name of it. But he just needs to stick to that. Like he cannot take punches to the face anymore. I'm sorry, it's over for you, Mike.
No, and he was getting kicked to the body. That was what made him drop down and kind of give up his face. Josh Hokett knocks out Derek Lewis. TKO's Derek Lewis. Sugar Show annihilates Aman Zahabi, which is Faraz Zahabi, George St. Pierre's former trainer's brother. Cyril Gahn knocks out Alex Pereira, which again nobody saw coming. Everybody was giving it to Chama. Everybody thought that the Brazilian kickboxing guru was going to wipe out everybody on the floor. And the biggest shock of the night, the biggest event in American history, if the United States did not win as big as they did against Paraguay, this would have been the biggest American story coming out of the weekend. But Justin Gaethje, at some points, he was a 6-1 underdog. And like he eloquently put in his post-fight press conference, America 250 years ago was a lot bigger than 6-1 underdogs against this little island called Britain in the Revolutionary War. And we came out on top in that. And he came out on top and beat an undisputed UFC champion in possibly his last fight ever. And he's going to end with the red, white, and blue belt draped over his shoulder. Like Justin Gaethje, Colorado guy. He went to Northern Colorado. I'm not sure. I'm going to look up where he's from as you're talking about this.
But I think he's in Nebraska. I can't remember.
I do too. He went to school in Greeley. He trains in Colorado. Like he's very tied into the Centennial State. So there's another tie that I'm going to get to a little bit later. But Justin Gaethje is one of those guys that under Trevor Whitman really earned his stripes in this UFC game. He's been the highlight for a long time. He said it during his post-fight press conference, like I got leather skin on my face because he definitely pieced me up in the first round. But the knee to the body, like I'm picturing it. I'm seeing the highlight right now. And as he's kneeing Ilya in the side of the ribs, I'm like, there's an American bald eagle on Justin Gaethje's kneecap as he's just sending that right into his lungs. Like, yeah, take that. That's freedom, bitch.
Oh, God. Look, I want, before we even get to the main event, I want to touch on a couple of things. Diego Lopez, incredible. Bo Nickel, incredible, man. I was blown away with both those two. Bo
Nickel continues to win by knockout as a wrestling specialist. He got a takedown early, and then he went and he's like, yeah, you know what? I'm done. I'm going to
Diego Lopez is becoming one of my new favorite fighters. The dude weighed in twice. He weighed in for his fight, 20 pounds under, and then was the backup fight for the main event in case one of those two couldn't go, and weighed himself an hour later and put 20 pounds back on. So that's all you need to know about Diego Lopez. So I'm even more shocked about him. And then, like the rest of the card, Sugar Show. Obviously, I love me some Sugar Show, man. Okay.
By the way, Nostradamus, he's like, I'm fighting a Canadian on the White House lawn right now. I gotta put his lights out, and he put his lights out.
You cannot lose.
Salute on the way out. He's like, Joe Rogan, did you picture that as you were going and preparing? Like, yeah, I pictured knocking him out, his lights going out as he's falling down. I'm hitting the United States salute to the president.
Hearing superstar at the White House. Oh my God, just the chills from Sugar Show. Hokett.
His post-fight press conference, I want to just totally disavow right now. But Hokett as a UFC heavyweight prospect, he's one of those most dangerous guys. He's 240 pounds. He can literally fight at the pace that he was fighting Derek Lewis for 5 rounds. He only had 3 in this fight. He dominated him. That is an announcement physically.
Derek Lewis is also like on the tail end. We are long past. My balls are sweaty. We're long past those days. Like Derek Lewis's prime is over. But I will say, okay, like the post-match thing was disgusting. And what I thought was also disgusting was he was drunk at the weigh-ins and throwing up all over himself. And I was like, if there's one way for yourself to find yourself to become a villain, you're figuring it out. Okay. You're figuring it out very strongly, because I don't think you have any fans. If you do, you better hold on to them, because they're the good ones for you. I mean, like I think he just needs to face a top fighter now. Like Derek Lewis is, like I said, the back half of his career, and we'll see really what he's all about. But either way, like he fought well. I just, after seeing him throw up on himself in the post and then the post-fight interview, I was just like, I'm out on this dude. This dude has not got it, and he's just trying to make a show out of it. Like he's trying to do what Colby Covington did, but make it 100 times worse. Like literally. And I don't think he is nearly as good as Colby.
No, and I forget too, like he does have a wrestling background. He wrestled Bo Nickel in one of the NCAA tournaments. Yeah, no, he was the guy. I think in either when I was at the radio station in college or when we first started the show, he was one of the guys that I highlighted during the wrestling tournament, because he was the fullback of the Fresno State football team. And then also he's one of the few guys that they had on the wrestling team, kind of like saving the program the same way that Sanford had to be saved. So he's done good things in his past, but this was, if you're going to, like, you better commit to playing the heel, and you better commit to having no fans anywhere that you go. Because if he goes international, he's the American ignorant asshole. And if he fights in America, he's have at least half of us. He's going to have at least half of us because of what he said about Michelle Obama in his post-fight press conference, like absolutely hating his guts.
Like I think it's very clear the way I stand. I'm Republican, but even I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like when I hear that, I was like,
why would you say something Alex Jones says on his podcast on truth.com? And I found it hilarious when they had a fight sponsored by truth.com, which is Trump's social media. And then they also had a fight sponsored by Rumble. I'm like, you're not leaning into the fake news thing very well, but come on.
Just stupid. And like I said, I hope the Obama sue the shit out of him is all I'm going to say. And I think, like, if he continues doing shit like that, he won't even get a chance to fight the top fighters, because even Dana was like, yeah, he's a fucking idiot. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, he should have never said that. It's not true. Like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? It's like, if he wants to continue doing that, you're not even going to have a contract. So you can keep trying, but you're going to have to figure out a way, if you want to stick around for a while, to tame that down.
There's going to be something that he figures out, and maybe it's he does fight Cyril Gahn, and Cyril Gahn puts him in his place. I don't know if he's not necessarily that high in the rankings.
Feed him Chama is all I'm going to say. Feed him Chama, and Chama will.
Chama didn't look good at heavyweight. Chama
he got hit in the back of the head. Well, I know he did. He got hit in the back of the head. I love me some. I want to know.
I did say that I would have rather had Chama win. I didn't expect anything out of Cyril Gahn. And the only thing that I ever think about with Cyril Gahn is the fact that he got smothered. He lost to John Jones, not by a choke, not by some jiu-jitsu move, not by getting TKO'd, which is more respectable. You know what he got beat by John Jones by? He got his face pushed in his titties too hard. That's what he did. Yeah. He literally smothered him in his chest, and Cyril Gahn ended up winning the fight.
I was at that fight, and I was like, holy crap, this dude is just...
Sorry, Cyril Gahn did not end up winning the fight. John Jones smothered him in his titties and beat the shit out of Cyril Gahn.
Yeah, I watched that fight, and I was like, Gahn is nothing, dude. He just got bullied, basically. Just bullied around.
He's the stereotypical Frenchman's surrendering when it's not even a choke. He's like, he hasn't even gotten to the choke part or the punching part. He's like, I'm going to surrender right now.
That's just the aura of John Jones also. That's why no one will ever touch Prime Jones, as far as I'm aware, in terms of all-time best. But yeah, I mean, good for Gane. He knocked him down even without the back-of-the-head punches. I do think that the back-of-the-head punches helped end it, because I didn't think he landed a fully clean shot, but he did land some really good shots. And like I said, now heavyweight champion of the world. And I think if Pereira wants to fight heavyweight, and it looks like he's going to want to, he's going to need to be more aware that you cannot just walk your opponents down, because the power coming from their right hands are just as strong as your hands. It's like at lightweight, at middleweight, you can walk people down. You can walk guys down a corner and not worry about them firing back, because their punches are not going to hit as hard as yours. But at heavyweight, it's a whole different story where their hands are just as strong, if not stronger, than yours.
And literally at heavyweight, nobody survives whether you get touched with some of these people, and it's absolutely lights out. We followed Shane Carwin quite a bit when we were growing up, and he got touched by Brock Lesnar, and he went down and had to go. Like, somebody is always going to have some extra power that you just can't handle, and I do think that, I see it the same way that we saw Stylebender going up to light heavyweight when he fought Prohaska. It's like, okay, I expected something different, and I forgot how much bigger he is. And we can say that about the main event too, because did I give Justin Gaethje a chance? I gave him the Rocky puncher's chance, because I know that Justin Gaethje can eat a shot, but I've also seen him get knocked out with Max Holloway standing in the middle of the octagon. I've seen different times where he's been absolutely beaten to shit in some of his fights. And I thought that if this went that way, he was going to have no answer and there was going to be no, response from him. But I underestimated the effect that being on the White House was going to be. I underestimated the fact that he is American. He has watched Rocky. He has grown up, he's from a very small town, and he's similar to a lot of us. Like, that is, as much as people want to say that California or New York or like these big cities represent America, America is more built on the people that are in the middle that just continue to do the same thing over and over. Justin Gaethje is a wrestler by heart. He figured out boxing to be able to be a good fighter in the UFC. And after the first round, when he took that beating, he came back and he put one of the most, I've never been as proud. We watched the gold medal game this year in the Olympics. We've seen some other really cool American events. I played on a Team USA. That was the proudest that I've been to watch somebody that's American have this moment. And he just took full advantage of it because, again, 6-1 underdog. Not only were none of us giving him a chance in this fight, Vegas gave him no chance in this fight. There was no business of him being this close. And he put this guy out so bad, his brother threw in the towel on the stool.
I haven't seen a face that battered and bruised and bloody since Rory McDonald and Robbie Lawler. And I think of what Rory looked like in that fifth round. Like that was not even close to what Toporia's face looked like. Yeah. Like, you look at the before and after. Yeah, he has a beard, and yeah, he already has some few scars on his face already. But that's not even like the amount of scars and blood drawn that the Diaz brothers put out after their fights. Like, it
was rough. Both eyes. It was from the inside, so right across the bridge of the nose for the people that are just listening, all the way to the end of the eyebrow, and on one of the sides, it was pretty much almost all the way to the end of the ear. If you continued to fight, there's a good chance of Toporia's face getting cut off with an elbow, broken nose. Everybody loves that Rory McDonald Robbie Lawler fight. Nobody realizes that the punch that put that fight to the end, if it goes in a different angle just slightly, that's the end of Rory McDonald's life, because his nose goes through his brain, and everybody is now standing there like, this was a great fight, but damn, somebody should have really thrown in the towel. So I get where his brother is coming from. You don't want to see somebody that's close to you get beat like that. He talked so much shit that it was almost a little cathartic, though.
I mean, before the fight, he was having a celebratory dinner the night before. Like they already were hyping up Makhachev versus Topuria fight. They already had, that's one thing Gaethje has done better than probably any other fighter in UFC history, is that he has been the big fight killer. He has been the big fight killer. Like, you think about Ferguson Habib, all the fight everyone wanted for so long. Gaethje stopped Ferguson from that happening. Yes, Ferguson got injured, didn't have that, but Ferguson had a tune-up against Gaethje, and Gaethje ended that.
We all said that Ferguson should retire after that fight because of the beating that he took and the way that his face looked at the end of the fight. Similar to what we're saying about, I'm not saying that Topuria should retire, but Topuria should be in the hospital for quite a bit of time, and he should take a lot of time off in between his next fight.
A lot of time off, and obviously Gaethje doing this now with Topuria and what could have been Makhachev, and yeah, I mean, I think Gaethje should not be retiring, is all I'm going to say, and he probably could retire, but I mean, I'll put this out there for you. Like, I think Gaethje is a top, or is a Mount Rushmore Colorado athlete in terms of guys who are from here. Like not necessarily played here, like raised here and been around here and fights or from Denver, Colorado. Like I think he's on that because of this and just because of his repertoires. Like I think he's up there with the Chaunceys. I think he's up there with the likes of those people because this is an outstanding performance and his murders row of people who he's beat. You sit there being like, holy shit! It's like, who has he not fought? There's an easier conversation like, who has he not fought than who has he fought? Like that's how much he's been like, yep, sign me up, I'm in. I'm fighting who? Yep, sign me up, I'm in. Like that's the kind of guy he is.
Yeah, no, and another big fight that he killed, I don't know if you remember this, but he knocked out Dustin Poirier as Poirier was about to get that trilogy with Conor McGregor.
Yep.
Like that was, if Poirier didn't lose that fight and if Conor didn't look the way that he did against Khabib and then break his leg, that was going to be the fight that the UFC was going to send off into this now deal that they have with the new company that owns them with Paramount. And it didn't happen because Justin Gaethje was like, yeah, you know what? I can take a beating for 5.5 minutes, but you better not give me 30 seconds. If you give me 30 seconds of an opening, I will put your lights out. Yeah, I will make your face absolutely unrecognizable when your mother looks at you.
And Gaethje is like, he's an all-world person too, like just one of the nicest guys. Every fighter that's ever fought him has always had nothing but respect for him. He never does anything wrong. It's like, yeah, he's going to get in your face and talk a little bit shit, but at the same time, he's going to be just as respectful and not like some other fighters that he's faced. He's special, man, and I hope he doesn't hang him up. That's for sure.
It'll be interesting. Real quickly before we move off of the UFC Freedom, I'm going to play. We're going to share the screen, and we'll be able to see what he said in his post-fight press conference. This is talking about where he came from and getting to this moment. So hopefully everybody enjoys. If you're the UFC or anybody like that, you know, hey, just we're getting there. And if people see this from our platform, that's awesome. That's better for you. So this is Justin Gaethje following his fight at UFC 250 on the White House lawn.
Coming from such a small town, I can't tell you how blessed I am to have made it this far, to have represented my small town, you know, as well as I have. And then now I get to represent my country as a whole. And I think I did a pretty good job tonight. My mom's dream was to meet Melania, and she got to meet her. So
I know you said in the cage that you weren't going to make a retirement decision and you promised your mother. I guess what is going to go into in these weeks, months, making the decision on what your future looks like?
I said I wouldn't even talk about it to her. I promised her. So I'm going to enjoy this win.
And speaking of enjoying the win, does, you know, the setbacks you had leading into this, the failed opportunities at that undisputed belt just make this moment even sweeter?
Absolutely. I think those experiences are why I fought so perfect tonight. And then the Max Holloway knockout is what makes this win so much more special. I was counted out so bad, and I'm 9-2 as an underdog, so I love being in this position. Coming from such a small town, I can't tell you how
and again, he's a 9-2 as an underdog, and what he said in his post-fight press conference still stands. We were pretty heavy underdogs 250 years ago, and what he did with that event, that was what everybody, like the script writers couldn't have, they wrote that script and then they said, nah, let's give that back. There's no way anybody would believe it. And then real life happened, and sometimes real life has a way of making script writing even that much better.
Yeah, I mean, like he's a special talent and a special fighter, and like I said, I forgot who I was talking to this with, and they were like, "Oh, there's not even an American on the main event. Like, America's not even going to win." I was like, "You're talking Justin Gaethje. That's a heavy mistake." It's like, if you like, I don't think there are.
And Nico, the guy that you were talking to is me, the guy that you talked sports with for about 2 hours. Right. That was how we ended the show last week. I said there's not even. I thought that Pereira Gon was going to be the main event, and then I was like, "Oh, there's not even an American in the main event."
I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to call you like that. I thought.
Poirier, really? The guy that's literally knocked out everybody and hits hard as a Mack truck at 155 pounds? That's who we think Gaethje, who just got knocked out by Holloway, is going to beat? Yeah, let me go ahead and eat that right here on the podcast.
I promise you I was not trying to call you out. I totally forgot who I was talking to about that. I do talk about you about all that stuff, so it makes sense. I will say is, like, I don't think there is a more perfect UFC fighter to have that main event like Gaethje. Like, name one other UFC fighter.
If anybody's going to make me eat absolute shit on this show, I would rather it be somebody from Greeley, Colorado, because it smells like shit as you drive through it. It's like, yeah, that makes total sense. Like, cool. I should have given you more credit. I'm sorry I didn't, Justin Gaethje.
I
I'm so
did
glad
too.
you got it done.
I was like, everyone was doubting him. I was doubting him too. I had no idea he was going to do that, and then he did that. You're like, oh, that's right. That's why he's the human highlight. Like he's unreal.
Yeah, no, and he fights the way everybody wants somebody in the UFC to fight. He doesn't take any. He's not holding anything back. He's trying to throw as much leather as he possibly can and get somebody out of there. I think that's a good way to transition into talking about the United States men's team because I did watch the game, and I did make sure that I knew enough to talk about what we're going to be able to talk about.
As we start this, I just want to know, and Messi just shot a goal from at least like 20 feet beyond the box. That was unreal.
And we are recording this Tuesday because Nico does have a big travel weekend with PLL, so this is going to be
which by the way, I will be in New York during the fucking parade. So hope that there's a city there.
Stay away.
Yeah.
Stay away from the parade. A guy got shot at the Denver parade. I can't imagine what's going to happen in the New York City parade.
Oh gosh, yeah.
No, but I want to keep this. It's American, just like attack because they got the first kickoff possessed to them. And what did they do with it? Did they set up some perfect play? No, they just had somebody kick it as far as they could into the opposite corner. And they made Paraguay go and chase the ball. And yeah, you might get possession out of that, but this is the way that we are going to play. And Pochettino has been given a lot of shit for his strategy and the friendlies and all of that kind of stuff. I believe they're saying the Pochettino Pentagon is his new strategy, but just the way that they played, I don't know if they can produce this as many games as they have in the World Cup. Can they play as well as they did against Paraguay for 8 games in a row? It hasn't been proven, so I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to say that. But Paraguay is the best defense in all of South America. Going through the CONCACAF tournament and the qualifiers, they give up the fewest amount of goals possible, and you scored 4 against that defense.
This is a team that has tested Brazil, that has tested Argentina, that has tested Uruguay, that has tested these other teams before in the CONCACAFs and different national tournaments, and you texted me this is should I be hyped about this?
I did have to gauge where I should be
and
sitting.
Then I sat here being like, fuck yeah, we should be, because I as I was listening to reports and shout out the Tim Howard and Lana Donovan podcast. I have been an avid listener for the last couple of weeks of that show, and I've been loving every second of their World Cup content. Obviously, I mean, for those that don't know, Tim Howard played for the Colorado Rapids. So for if you're a Colorado whatever fan, you know Tim Howard, and he's played down the street from you in Commerce City, one of the worst cities in Denver.
It smells just
it's horrible,
really.
just as bad. But they put it perfectly. It's this team, after years and years of the golden generation, the golden this, the golden that, right? 2018, you don't.
Alexi Lawless, I think it was the last World Cup. That rant that I texted you is should I be somewhere between elated, what I see online, or Alexi Lawless from the last World Cup? You have been given everything, because he's right. This is the generation of the United States men's team that actually has money behind it, because we've recognized that these are some of the best athletes that we've ever produced in this sport, and they have a possibility of doing something that we've never done. So I wanted to be somewhere between his rant from the end of the last World Cup when they got eliminated, and somewhere between the social media that I've seen and what they did. And I want to bring this up too. The defense has been the question. Well, if you have a bad defense, what should you do? You should just attack and kick the ball and make sure that you play as much in their end as possible. Is that going to work against everybody? No, but you should at least start that. You're a basketball guy. If you see a full court press, if you see it for a full game, that's a different story. But just for a few possessions to kind of break up the rhythm of the game, it can change things. It can make a team that should win kind of be in a situation shit, I can't get anything past these guys because they're playing absolute buzzards.
And the thing that the U.S. team, that this U.S. team has really strongly been built around, and as opposed to 2022 and even the years past, like before that, not just 2018, but 2014, 2010, 2006, all those teams is this team is not built off of players that play in the MLS. I'm sorry, American fans. The MLS is one of the worst
That's where you
league
go to
in the
collect a
world.
check and be seen on TV and then retire so that you get some
Messi-
sort of
Messi-
cologne deal.
Messi has single-handedly funded the entire MLS for the next 50 years, okay? Because he shows up and plays in games for Inter
Nico,
Miami,
real
okay?
quick, who makes more money, the WNBA or the MLS?
It is the MLS. You and I both know that. And the main reason why is because we have Caitlin Clark is a superstar. She's not the global superstar that Lionel Messi has, and that's not putting it lightly because there's no one that is as global superstardom as Lionel Messi outside of maybe Ronaldo. Okay, so it's the 1A, 1B in that conversation. But this team is built off of guys who play in the MLS and play in America. The guys that were born here and played. You think of Balogun, he's a guy that plays in the English Premier League. You look at
only American because his mom was too pregnant to fly home.
Which is crazy. And I don't remember. I wasn't on soccer Twitter for all that, but apparently when he was making his decision, it was a whole thing where all the Americans were like, "You are the missing piece. You are the piece. You are the piece. You are the piece," and just kept spamming American flags under every single Instagram post he had for probably 2 years.
Goals for us, so
he scored 2 goals, and now he is the centerpiece.
Nico, he's the first player in American national team history to score 2 goals in a World Cup game since 1930.
I thought it was the first time ever. Either way,
no, it's 1930.
Either way,
the last guy, Bert
Exactly.
Padenadu. Bert Padenadu is the last American that scored multiple games in the World Cup.
Did I hear that right? That was against the Paraguay team too. Like very funnily enough, I think it might have been.
It could have been. Like, I don't know if Paraguay had independence from whatever they had, whoever had colonies at that point. But yeah, no, that would make sense.
But Balogun, obviously, Premier League experience, German experience, all that. You look at Christian Pulisic, you look at Weston McKennie, you look at Timmy Weah, you look at Munsa. They all play in Italy for Serie A, for Juventus and AC Milan. You look at obviously one of our best defenders, Chris Richards, plays out of Crystal Palace in the Premier League. Like the talent on this roster is built of the guys that produce at a high level against the other top talent in the world consistently. So when you go on the world stage and you're facing some of the best players in the world, you're like, okay, these guys have played against this talent. They're not just playing people who are the lowest of the low in the soccer world. You're playing with top talent against top talent that have experience against it, and that was as dominated performance as it was. Obviously, the first goal being the own goal, which was crazy. Then you have Balogun getting 2. You have Gio Reyna, a guy who was basically pushed to the wayside. For those that don't remember, 2022 World Cup in Qatar, he was rostered, did not play, and it was a huge moment of conversation about him and the former manager Greg Berhalter, their riffs and them going at one another, and Diggs not being strong. And he comes on and within 10 minutes scores. This team, like this group is
extra time too. Like they had already had the 3-1 lead secured, and he decided that he was going to add on. The goal differential, like we said, is a tiebreaker in this tournament. So they would never let up. It wasn't good enough to just get the win.
We are seeing a situation where like this American team is in a tough group because obviously Turkey and Australia. Turkey was the clear favorite to win this group from a lot of people with Arden Güler and their roster, and then they dropped the first game to Australia, and now they're fighting for their lives. Australia, after coming off a big win, is expecting to try to move on now. Like there's a chance the U.S. could. I mean, Paraguay could have been probably was the worst team out of the 4. I'm pretty sure about that, but I think it's going to be – I'm excited for this game coming up Friday against Australia and then next week on Thursday against Turkey because I think those are the real tests, and I think that if we can continue this hot streak, it's only going to go up from here because I was heavily impressed. Pochettino has those boys believing. Like Pochettino has said, he's like, yeah, I've watched Miracle multiple times in trying to do this. He's like, I took notes from the USA hockey team. I have not taken notes from the USA baseball team for right reasons. Like I'm taking notes from the right people, okay? And he's like, and I gotta pull up the quote. I gotta find this quote that Pochettino has said that Berhalter echoed. He has these guys believing like no other. It is impressive. And the dude's computer on the side of it's hilarious. He looks at that computer like your grandma looks like your and I's grandma looks at that Microsoft laptop.
Yeah. That Pochettino iPad, I've heard stories about that online. As you're looking up the quote, looking ahead to this Australia matchup, Australia did beat Turkey, so this would right now be for the lead of the group, and it could change. It could end in a draw.
Let's put it this way: you get 3 points here out of this match, you're going through. Like you're already.
If you win this, you're probably the leader of the group, whether you win your last game in the stage or not.
Depending on what Turkey does, obviously
and that's what I said. Australia beat them 2-0, 2-0.
That's true. That
for you British, you off the boat fans. They won 2-0. Turkey did, or Australia did against Turkey.
It's as impressive as it comes. I found the quote. So Sebastian Berhalter on the mindset that U.S. men's national team head coach Mauricio Pochettino has brought to the team. He said, and I quote, "We're American. We don't take shit. Fucking right we don't. Hell yes. That is what I want."
Tea? You're going to tax our tea? We don't even drink tea over here, but you're going to tax our tea?
I love it.
We're going to make our own country based on that. Thank you very much.
I love it. That's the mentality of this team, because that is exactly what this team needs. Because if you think that you're just going to be high and mighty above everyone else, no. It's like we are going to scratch your claw. You're going to hate to play the United States of America. We will do our best to keep going and go as far as the tournament takes us. But you will remember when you played the United States of America, and that's exactly what you want. And boy, compared to the other two teams, host nations, it was the most impressive victory. Mexico's win was impressive, right? Mexico's win was impressive. I
think they would have scored more goals if South Africa wasn't so willing to take red cards.
Yeah, that was
red cards.
4 red cards in the first game. 4 red cards in the first game. There was 7 in 2022. Okay, and we had 4 in the first game. Just ask them.
They were literally just absolutely tackling people when they got behind them.
And then Canada was down 1-0 for 85 minutes and tied the game to get a point against Bosnia-Herzegovina.
Hey, they knocked Italy out, so we can't really say that much about Bosnia-Herzegovina.
I did say Bosnia was my sleeper team in that group, so I will say that. Maybe I know ball a little bit, but I mean, out of the 3 host nations, like, you got to be the most excited as an American. Like you have to be the most excited.
Yeah, no, I think that there's good reason to be. The other thing that's coming out about the World Cup, and I saw a few videos today, everybody's been kind of mentioning it, but Iran lost their first game, or I believe they tied. Excuse me. I don't believe they lost, but they tied to a team that they should have beat because they have the travel in and out of the country they can't stay in the United States.
I think they faced Europe. No, they faced New Zealand. That's who it was.
New Zealand. It was a 2-2 tie. That's what it was. Because I listened to a podcast that's based out of New Zealand, and I saw a video, and I don't know why I did this to myself, but I started scrolling through comments, and that was definitely a video that was going to start getting political, and everybody started saying like, "Oh, this is bullshit," and you should be allowed to stay in the country. And unfortunately, in a world event like this, like, think about the Olympics for the last 2 Winter Olympics, Nico. Have we had the Russian national team competing in those Olympics?
No, we have not.
So, unfortunately, as these soccer players, these football players are not a part of the issues that are going on with the Iranian government in the United States, but they are reaping what they sow with what's going on in the international politics. That is what you have to deal with.
And they are here, and they are playing. And I think that and look, no one is expecting that team to do anything. Like, the fact they got a draw, good for them. Their group is, the
fact that they got a draw against New Zealand, who hasn't made the World Cup in 2 tries, like, no, that's not good for them.
That's not good for them at all. And I mean, like I said, I'm not going to get too political, but like, it is what it is. Like, you have to deal with political unrest. This is the world we live in. The World Cup and the Olympics are the 2 most political sporting events in the world. Like I'm sorry, like you think of like all world events, they have been revolved around the World Cup and revolved around the Olympics. Like, there has been wars that have been stopped or paused because of the World Cup, because of the Olympics. Like,
Germany hosted the 1936 Olympics when Hitler was in power at that point. In power,
like there are, like, it is a completely like normal thing for political unrest and things like that to happen at these world events, because how can it not? How can it not? So, I mean, yeah, it sucks for them, and I think there's other ways going around it. I think they have another game in Mexico, maybe, and because that's the one good thing is, like, you are in 3 countries here, so you don't just have to deal with the U.S. You also have to go to Canada. You also have to go to to Mexico, which is a very difficult place to play because the altitude. So it's not easy for a lot of teams, is all I'm going to say. So.
No, I don't think that. I'm not sitting here saying that you don't have a gripe, but I'm also sitting here saying that, if you don't want to deal with it, then you should probably that's the thing. Americans don't realize, because that was the craziest thing that I saw in the comments. It was mostly people that live in America that are saying these terrible things about this situation. Well, hey, if they don't want to have to deal with these sanctions, maybe they should be able to do something about their government and be able to say something. Oh, that's right, they can't. So just shut up as an American. You don't have to be saying that the Iranians need to stay in the United States when they are a national threat. They are a national threat. That's what we have to say right now because of what they're doing with the Strait of Hormuz. They're not going to attack us, but they're going to attack everybody else of their neighbors. So if you stop attacking your neighbors, then maybe you can stay in the United States for the World Cup. That would be my thing.
I mean, you're hitting the nail on the head, that's for sure. But I mean, look, this World Cup has had so many interesting stories. I mean, you look at I'll hit the nail more on the head on there. But Cabo Verde, the third smallest country to ever be in the World Cup, tied Spain, a team that is a top 3 team in the world right now. That is a lot of people's predictions to win the World Cup, and they went to a 0-0 draw. 0-0 draw. Jeremy Curacao, again, the game I went to, 7-1. It was 0-0 draw for Spain versus Cabo Verde. That's incredible. I mean, like the games have been incredible. Ivory Coast and Ecuador, that was another fun one. Ivory Coast, I saw some people tweeting out and being like, who the fuck knows where Ivory Coast is and all the other things. I want you people to know, if you are a ball knower and you played FIFA from 2010 to at least like 2018, you know the Ivory Coast. Because Didier Drogba, Dubia, Yaya Toure was the most unbeatable team in FIFA in the FIFA video game of all time. That team had unbelievable pace and just went around everybody. And it was a cheat code. It was a cheat code. And this tournament it is hit like no other. Obviously, we have Messi playing right now, which he's doing his performances. Mbappe gets himself a hat trick today.
That's a French record, by the way.
French record. He is closing on Miroslav Klose's, no pun intended, Miroslav Klose's World Cup record of goals, and he had a hat trick in the World Cup final 4 years ago. He taps it off. I believe it was a hat trick today. If it wasn't 2, I know for a fact it was 2. I thought it might have been 3 today of France's goals. You're right. I'm sorry. He only had 2. Bradley Barcola had the second one. But yeah, he's on a different tier. France looks like a team to be beaten, or not a team to beat. And you have lots of talent. Like I loved watching Norway and Erling Haaland. I don't know if you saw the row the boat thing that they do. The whole fans, as they're going up the escalator at whatever stadium they were at, they sat down and just rowed. Like they were rowing a Viking boat. Love that.
As an Eastern European geography teacher, I love the Viking throwback, but no, I did not see that.
It was great. It was great, and all the Viking hats, and they have one of the best players in the world in Erling Haaland. England-Croatia is going to be a fun one on Wednesday. Portugal, obviously, with the likes of with obviously Cristiano Ronaldo and one of the most talented teams in the tournament outside of Ronaldo too, should be interesting. I'm very excited to see this second round of matches because I think this first round was a lot of people figuring out a lot of things about themselves and their club or their squad, excuse me. Because the second game is where we're gonna find out who goes through, who gets stuck behind. Because if you're a country like Spain, if you're a country like Uruguay, if you're a country like the Netherlands right now, who had draws in their first match, it is a must-win for this second match. Because if you get another draw, you may be looking at a third-place finish, and you may get through, but you're going to be facing a powerhouse in that first round, and that is exactly what you do not want to do.
That is why the American tournaments that you can't finish in a tie work so much better. Let's move from the World Cup to the World Basketball Championship, the NBA Finals. The New York Knicks, gentlemen, sweep the Spurs 4-1. They win their first title since 1953. They were down in every single game. They never played the entirety of the game with the lead. They win Game 5, 94-90, and there's a lot that we're going to get into. But just the fact that this happened, the fact that Mike Breen, who is like we said last week, the regional announcer for the radio, he is the Knicks guy. So I don't know if it was the best call that I've ever heard, but it was what he decided on a long time ago. It was a good ending. And what I've seen throughout this entire series, yeah, it was a 5-game series, but it was the best gentleman sweep that we've ever seen in the NBA Finals, because all of the games were within 5 points with 5 minutes left. So just the Knicks being able to get over that hump and win their championship. How did you feel about this being the end of the NBA season?
I mean, like, see the Knicks to do this first time in 53 years. It's cool. Like, it's cool. I see a new team do it. Now our 8th different championship team in 8 years, which is incredible. Like, that's another fun statistic for you. Like, I sat there watching the game being like, I don't like the way the Knicks fans are treating the Spurs fans and everything, and it sucks the way they do it, but that is a starving fan base. For the Knicks fans that are also Jets fans and Islanders fans and also Mets fans, this is everything you've ever had and ever could have wished for. This team willed itself to victory, and Mike Brown was one of the best head coaches, and we saw a performance from a guy in Jalen Brunson that if he's not a 1A, I'm sorry, Becky Hammond, for those comments, but that is probably the most freezing cold take in the history of basketball.
Is he a superstar at this point, Nico? He's won an NBA Finals and an NBA MVP Finals. So is he a superstar?
The conversations after were very funny because I was like, Jalen Brunson's the greatest Knick of all time. And people were like, well, he's not above Patrick Ewing. I was like, did Patrick Ewing ever win a championship?
Patrick Ewing never got past the Eastern Conference Finals, did he? Did he play in the finals?
I believe he went to the finals. I can't remember.
Once.
Maybe against Houston. I can't remember.
As Patrick Ewing, he went once.
He did. No, he went once against San Antonio, and that's when they lost that Spurs team.
That's terrible.
That's what I'm saying. It's like Jalen Brunson, in terms of New York athletes, he's up there, okay? It's Derek Jeter, it's Eli Manning, it's fucking Jalen Brunson, okay? Like,
what we said last week.
The top of the hill.
What you said last week stands true. If you are a New York basketball fan, you are a fan of the Knicks. You are not a fan of the Nets because they moved into Brooklyn. They're originally a New Jersey team. And I got that firsthand because I'm coaching with the Creek football team. And Coach Betty, who coaches the offensive line there, is from New York. He's from the Bronx, deep in Brooklyn. He could give a shit less about the Nets. But he was like, oh, yeah, nobody wants to fucking talk when we came back from 29 points down in game 4 and put the fucking brakes on your Spurs. I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. You're a Knicks fan, too. You're from New York. That's right. I forgot.
If you are from New York, if you're anywhere in the state, you are a Knicks fan. That's plain and simple. Like Jay-Z owns the Nets, and he was still there rooting on the Knicks. That's all you need to know about the Knicks fandom, okay? Like it was pretty cool to see. It was pretty cool to see. And the way they did it, Jimmy, they were down by double digits in every single game they won the finals.
Yes.
Like, they were down by double digits, 10-plus points. In all 4 victories in the finals. Like we are talking about. They
have 3 of the top 5 biggest comebacks in NBA Finals history through their 4 wins that they have.
We are talking about if the Spurs moved De'Aaron Fox from the roster, the Spurs could have won this series 4-1. We're talking about the 29-point victory if you manage the game better.
I did mention he's De'Aaron Fox is the 5th highest NBA player next season.
We're talking about, like, if Wemby didn't throw the ball off the back of Dylan or Stephon Castle's back, we're talking about if the Spurs didn't blow that 5-point lead with 2 minutes left in the 4th quarter of game 1, we're talking about the 29-point game. We're talking about the 14-point lead in game 5 at home. Like, this is an all-time choke job of the Spurs. This is an all-time choke job, and you can make it's not a choke job. They lost 4-1. It's like they lost that series. They didn't. The Knicks won it. Yes, the Knicks won it, but the Spurs lost it just as much as the Knicks won that. They threw away more games than I can count, and the Knicks, man, capitalized like no one I've ever seen. And Brunson, man, fuck that dude. Build him a statue already. Like change the face of the Statue of Liberty to Jalen Brunson's face. Like, do something. Put Brunson's jersey on the Statue of Liberty so everyone has to drive through. Or
I was going to say, it's got to be an 200-foot jersey of a New York Knicks 11 on the Statue of Liberty. That's the only way that you got to repay the man for what he did to the city, right?
And to think about that, like, Brunson's won everywhere he's gone. Like Bronson won in high school,
two
national
high school championship, two
national championships.
NCAA championships, and then an NBA championship.
As the guy in each stop, he is the guy in each stop. Okay, like this, man, it's incredible. And think about this, like that Mavericks team that made the finals 3 years ago.
He was on that team, wasn't he?
He was on that team. Same with Luka Doncic.
Ooh, but by the way, Nico Harrison does not. He's like the Jalen Brunson thing. That was Mark Cuban. I didn't do the Jalen Brunson thing. I did the Luka Doncic thing. I didn't do the Jalen Brunson.
Well, it was the opposite. It was like he did because I remember and Brunson has spoken pretty publicly about the contract negotiations. He's like he came to them in the offseason and said, I want this contract 4 years, $50 million, whatever. Pretty safe contract for the most part. Pretty safe contract. And at the time, Dallas said, no, we want to wait till the regular season because we don't want to gamble on that. Well, he started playing really good. And the Mavericks came back and, yeah, we'll sign that. And Brunson midseason was like, no, I'm worth more than that now. He's like, Luka missed a lot of games. I was the 1A guy. Like, we were winning a lot of ball games, got to the NBA Finals. I'm worth more than that. And then they never circled around back to that. And that was the mismanagement of the Dallas Mavericks will be studied in sports business classes for the next 100 years. Because these last 5 years of what the Mavericks were and what they could have been, it will be studied for years and years and years because it is insane that level of talent just walks out the door. Just walks out the door. You, in return for Jalen Brunson and Luka Doncic, you got 10 games of Anthony Davis and a first-round pick in 2027. That will be in the 30s. So congratulations, Mavs.
Well, I was gonna say, wasn't Kristaps Porzingis on their lineup when they made it to the NBA Finals?
That was
the year after.
Porzingis was long gone.
I feel like I see the same thing with the Stars too, and that'll give us a good runway to get into the NHL and the Stanley Cup Finals. But just Dallas's mismanagement. Because now you see Carolina win the Stanley Cup with Logan Stankoven, who you drafted, and everybody said you got so praised for the draft pick of Logan Stankoven when you did. He was like a 4th or a 5th round pick, and now he's a Stanley Cup champion in a market where your best player, Mikko Rantanen, was like, no, I will never, ever play. Why would I ever want to play in Raleigh, North Carolina? And we said it on this podcast, like they're home ice merchants. They will never win. What are you gonna do? They won the fucking Stanley Cup on away ice. They won the Nico. I don't know. We can maybe do this as a versus at the end of the summer, but just I don't know if there's a better venue to win a championship than in Las Vegas, Nevada. Especially if I look like Rod the Bod. If I look like Rod the Bod and I win a Stanley Cup in Vegas, you best believe I don't have a shirt for the next 48 hours. I have the Stanley Cup over my head. I'm all pumped out. When I give the Stanley Cup to somebody else, I'm doing push-ups or bicep curls. Like, oh my God, that was the Hurricanes. I'm glad I reverse jinxed them because I said after game 1, it's like, oh, it's over. It's totally over. Vegas is going to sweep the finals. And Vegas turned around and is like, what the fuck did you just say? What did you say about my team?
We were all like, oh, Vegas is going to do this. Vegas is going to do that. They're going to dominate. And all of a sudden, Carter Hart realized, yeah, I'm actually not as good of a goalie as I thought. Like, is there a better sports outcome than Carter Hart not being on the Stanley Cup? Yeah, the Avs winning it.
Well, but just keeping Carter Hart's name off of the Stanley Cup, that would be the win of the entire hockey fan base.
That's true. But like I mean, Carolina, like talk about this roster, man. Like it is one of the most deep rosters. They like you and I can have this conversation. It's like, can we clearly say they have one single star player?
Not star, but just like, I mean, importance wise.
If you like, in important wise, is a different conversation.
I was going to say Jordan Staal would be the only guy that I would consider as a star because he's won a Stanley Cup early on in his career with Pittsburgh, and he was the reason. What have we been saying the last 4 years in Colorado since we won the Cup? We need a second line center like Nazem Kadri. The reason why Carolina doesn't have to get a second line center is because they put Jordan Staal out for the power play first faceoff, and he
wins
wins
faceoff.
it, and then they're just in the zone for the next 2 minutes. Like
great.
I think he was an 80% faceoff, which is you see those numbers in lacrosse. You don't see those numbers in hockey.
It's insane. And the only reason why I say that is because I think about it like this. Say you're an individual that lives in North Carolina, right? And like, oh, I have a team that's in the Stanley Cup final. I was in North Carolina 2 weeks ago, and I had a conversation with my Uber driver. It was like, oh, you excited for the Hurricanes and excited they're in the Cup and all that? And they're like, yeah, I guess so. It's like I don't really know much about the team except that they're really good. It's like if you are a Carolina fan and a brand new fan, you could pick probably 8 different guys to get a jersey off. And everyone's like, yeah, hell yeah. It's like when you're an Avs fan, you're like just starting to become an Avs fan, you get a McKinnon jersey. You get him a card.
29, 8, 92, those are the three.
You get a Bussy.
That's your Avalanche starter pack.
You can get, and if you're a Hurricanes fan, you can get an Aho jersey, you can get a Jarvis jersey, you can get a Jacob Slavin jersey, you can get a Frederick Anderson jersey, you can get a Jordan Stahl jersey.
Jacob Slavin, Colorado native, by
Colorado
the way.
native as well.
Went to Erie High School.
Another one.
Erie.
Colorado sports is on the up and coming this week. That's all I'm gonna say. Is we're at an all-time high right now. And Slavin did something that's only happened twice in our country's history, by the way.
Yes.
And winning a World Cup. Winning
all my thunder. Don't steal all my thunder.
Winning a gold medal and winning a Stanley Cup is pretty damn fucking cool.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
It's pretty damn cool.
Nico, here's the thing. They won it. They won Game 6 in the way, I'm going to do this again because we are Colorado Avalanche fans, and I'm wearing an Avalanche hat. It's turned backwards so you can't see the logo because I am still embarrassed to I am that petty. I'm going to get some Carolina Hurricanes gear to wear to my trip to Vegas in a couple weeks, and yes, I will have no shame about it.
Make sure it's a Jacob Slavin jersey.
Yes, of course. It's going to be a 74. I'm going to get one of those basketball jerseys that you see on TikTok, and I'm going to make sure 74 is on the back of it. But just
Slavin was one of the jerseys that I was considering when I bought my Team USA jersey, but I had to go with an Av, so I went with Nelly. But still, that's incredible. It's just incredible.
Every team that we say that the Colorado Avalanche can't beat play Hurricane hockey. We say that it's the Dallas system, and we say that it's the Vegas system. Carolina beat Vegas by playing Carolina hockey, and Vegas got to the Stanley Cup final by playing Carolina Hurricane hockey. They chip, they chase, they win the corner battles at the boards, and that's all they do. They don't really zone enter. They don't have one guy skating the entire length of the ice. They just kick it in. Whatever line is out there, they go. They win the battle in the corner. That's what they did. A 3-0 shutout in the elimination game to not let Vegas get on the board at home in their elimination game. Like, holy shit. Like, when we won our cup, Tampa scored against us. Like, you at least give up one because of the home ice advantage.
Brandon Bussy, man. Fucking Brandon Bussy, dude. A guy that comes in off the street and wins 3 games. Like, come on. Like, come on, man. It's just as good as it comes in terms of storylines. And yeah, I mean, this Carolina team, like, I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, Carolina just puts guys out there and be like, oh, shit, these guys out here. Oh, shit, this line's out here. Oh, shit, this line's out here. From the start of the playoffs, you and I sat here being like, yeah.
Who scored the opening goal of the elimination game? Do you remember?
I
Taylor Hall.
Taylor Hall, yeah.
Hall, a guy who's been on 9 different teams in the league.
Exactly, all across the league. I think it was in Vegas at one point, too. Like, he's been everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. And I sit here and I'm like, and I sit there and I like remember reminiscing on the whole playoffs. It was like we sat there after the first round, after the second round, being like, yeah, the Avs and the Hurricanes are the best teams in the playoffs. It's not even close. And then obviously we get demolished, and that whole conversation is dead.
We got beat by Carolina Hurricane hockey light. We were drinking Coors Lights and got blacked out at the bar, and we were like, what?
And then Carolina just kept doing what they kept doing, and I will give Brendan Moore a lot of credit for doing the Bussy, putting Bussy out there and having Freddie Anderson be the backup, because that takes a lot of balls to do that, especially a guy that's been the cornerstone of your franchise in net, and been the guy in your locker room for a long time to do that.
Can we sit here and say that Carolina would have beat us in the Stanley Cup final too?
I'm not going to play the hypothetical because I think we would have. I mean, it was
the way that they think about
yeah.
the way that they play, and they do exactly what Vegas did to us, but better. Because that's the way that they played their entire season. And I could have given my Benchwarmer of the week to John Tortorella because we talked about how much he didn't have to do anything. Well, the one thing that he did was change up the lines that had been scoring, and then they didn't score again for the rest of the playoffs. And then he was like, oh, no, I'm not going to pull Carter Hart. That's the stupidest question. Oh, wait a second. You have Aiden Hill, who's sitting back there that won the Stanley Cup final, who beat the Florida Panthers, who went on to be the back-to-back Stanley Cup champions after you beat them. You're not going to go to that guy over Carter Hart?
And Torts now is without a job. I don't know if you saw that, which is wild.
I did see that. I'm glad about that. I would rather Tortorella have a job than Babcock, but those two guys never deserve a job in the NHL again.
With how nicely Torts talked about Bedsy, maybe he'll become the assistant here. Maybe we'll be lucky and we'll get lucky with that. And maybe he can help our power play and get a little bit more fire.
We're not getting rid of Hextall. You saw the Joe Sakic press conference.
I didn't know the Hextall part. I knew the Bednar part.
The coaching staff is staying what it is. The players are staying what they are. It's like, oh, that's great. Awesome. So glad.
I mean, maybe it'll be an entirely different outcome in a full season together. Another full season together, we'll give them another chance. But yeah, I mean, Carolina was by far the best team all Stanley Cup playoffs, and it was well deserving. The fact that team, like we consistently called them playoff chokers in the show, consistently. Like, oh, Carolina will blow it somehow. They'll lose to Tampa. They'll lose to Carolina. They'll lose to Carolina. Will lose to Florida. They'll lose to Tampa. They'll lose to somebody that they shouldn't, right? And then they finally just dominate their way through, and then just show out on the Stanley Cup final where they lose 2 games and make changes, and then they don't even look back. And it's very impressive what Carolina did.
They have the second best record in the NHL playoffs at 16-3. The only team to have a better mark is the 1988 Oilers that went 16-2. That was, by the way, last week we did our versus segment, which you can go back and listen to and still vote on. By the time this episode comes out, the voting will be over. That was the year after one of my final series that I put on there. This was the year they left Gretzky. He went to LA, and Messier went on and won the cup with the Edmonton Oilers again. That was the best record that they've ever had in the playoffs at 16-2. Carolina now second best at 16-3. That was a very cool moment, very awesome, thing that we've been able to experience. And I think that's what this show is the best about, is we get to now take snapshots of different points in time of our fandom history. And I'm going to put you on the spot because with the 6th year of our sports calendar, we've seen the Denver Broncos get to the AFC Championship. I know that it's a little bit different because the starting quarterback wasn't there. We've seen the Denver Nuggets. I will say this again. The Denver Nuggets won an NBA championship, a franchise that nobody ever thought. Like, you played with them in NBA 2K, and you're like, why the fuck are you playing with the Nuggets? They're never going to win an actual NBA championship. Well, they won an actual NBA championship. And then we saw the Stanley Cup come back to Denver for the 3rd time in franchise history. There's been other things that we talked about within the 6 years of the sports show, but just what is the best moment for you as a Denver sports fan since we've been able to have this show and been able to cover some of these things that have been happening?
I'm going to answer this in a different way than you expect me to answer. Mainly because I will beat a dead horse that the Nuggets championship is the best moment of my life, and nothing will ever top that. Like, there is an answer for the last 6 years. It's easily that. Like, there's no conversation about that. It's easily that. Number 2 is obviously the Avs championship. But if I look at the past sports calendar year, right, up until like last summer, right, end of last summer into this beginning of this summer, there's number 3 that happened this year. Okay, there was a number 3 that happened this year for me, and I called it my Super Bowl because I've been waiting 40 fucking years for something like this to happen. I watch movies, I watch shows, I watch a lot of things in the hopes that this would happen in my lifetime.
Now I remember what you're talking about. I was lost for a second, but I got back there.
There's a very clear number 3 in terms of all-time sports moments these last 6 years, and it's number 1 for me the last year, and it is the USA winning gold medal, okay? Like, that is a very clear, unreal moment that I will still get goosebumps thinking about. I watch that game back every now and then just to feel that again, just to wake up at 6 a.m. to watch that game again and feel it, to walk through the city of Vail with my girlfriend, wearing my Team USA jersey, hearing Team USA chants across this, and as I'm wearing the Deutschland fucking flag, I gotta take this off while I'm talking about this, and hearing all of that, right? Like, there is nothing like that feeling of winning your first Olympic gold medal since since the Miracle on Ice 1980. Like that moment, like it was my Super Bowl, it was everything. Like even though the Avs season ended horribly, like getting to experience something like that in the first time that the NHL was back in the Olympics since 2014. Okay, where I had to wake up at 3 a.m. to watch TJ Oshie playing Russia, right? Like that was an unreal moment that I will never forget the rest of my life. And a thing that I still get goosebumps, and I'm still trying to find memorabilia, and I'm still trying to find Team USA gear on sale now that we're like 4 months past it, and hoping that things go on sale and things I can find cheaper now because of how much fun that was and how cool it was. And yeah, like that's a moment that I will never forget. It's like I said, my easy answer is the Nuggets. Okay, that's not sugarcoating it. Okay, that's easily number one. And number two,
I was setting this up to give you like a full 15-minute rant on why Nikola Jokic is the best basketball player.
I've done that. I've done that. We've had what? How many episodes?
279.
279. 270 of those have been me praising him. Okay, so I if you want to hear those,
and the other 8 have been you giving Bo Nix like, oh, he's the next franchise quarterback. Oh wait. The other 6 have been Bo Nix, the franchise quarterback. There was 2 that we said Russell Wilson.
Exactly, and then probably and then the other ones were Avs related too. So if you want to hear those, you can just rewind. Is all I'm going to say, okay? Because the winning gold medal at the Olympics for the USA was a top sports moment for me, and still will something I'll remember. I bought so much fucking merch from that thing, so many shirts. I cannot wait till I'm working July 4th over the All-Star game, and I'm wearing my my Connor Hellebuck golden saved shirt, walking around with it. I'm gonna be wearing my probably USA Soccer jersey as well. Like man, there was nothing like that moment, and there's very few moments that top that in terms of these last 6 years, and that's just a moment that I'll remember forever. And the fact that it's the first time in 46 years in one of my favorite sporting events at the Winter Olympics, in one of my favorite sports that I get to watch, and something that I've been deprived of for the last 12 years, and not getting the last 3 Winter Olympics, and to get it and to have my team in my country put on a show like that, man, I could watch that Jack Hughes goal every day for the rest of my life and not be mad about it. I could hear Freebird. I still hear Freebird. I still have Freebird.
I hear Freebird every time the U.S. soccer team scores. Like that's
great.
The first song that I picture as it's going through. No, the same thing for me. Like obviously, I've seen. I don't remember it as much as I would like to, but I've seen the Colorado Avalanche win in 2001. And my dad went to college with the strength coach of the Colorado Avalanche. So my brother has a picture of sitting inside the Stanley Cup, and I have a picture of standing in front of the 2001 Stanley Cup. So yes, I love that. And I love that too also because the day that we went to the parade and we have that massive video that's done on our channel, that was also the day that I went to my interview for the first school that I got hired at and I got a job. So there's the personal connections. What I will say for my favorite moment of the last 6 years of this show, and it's one that I will be honest, Nico, because how long have you known me? We met in 7th grade, right? We met in 7th grade, so it's been close to 50.
We're nearing 20 years.
Yeah, it's been a very long time, and the fact that I told you I was a Bengals fan from the first time that I met you till now is still mesmerizing to you. Like the biggest moment that I've ever had on this show. We didn't even have I did a post-game show after the game, and I tried to and capture that. And I think that's what the best thing about this entire show is me. I love the emotion of an event, and I love trying to bring that to everybody else that sees it. The day that the Bengals played in the AFC Championship game, I was taking Boomer on a walk because we were I don't know how I agreed to this, but we were going to start having playoff parties for the Bengals games, and we had a playoff party for the AFC Championship for the first time that we didn't have a playoff party for. And I remember sitting there walking Boomer in the morning, and I was like, I'm crying because I never ever thought that the Bengals were even going to win a playoff game because they hadn't won one up until that point in my life, and it had been 36 years since they broke that streak. And then when they did, and then they're sitting in the AFC Championship game, I'm sitting there and I'm taking Boomer up Yosemite Street in Colorado. I'm like, I didn't even expect them to win the divisional round, and now they're going to be playing the AFC Championship against Patrick Mahomes. And I remember just like tears slowly rolling down. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. This is awesome.
It's something that you don't think will ever happen, and then it happens. You're like, holy shit, this is sick. Like this is an unreal feeling and moment that like I said, you just hope that the next time we have this conversation, it's you saying about them winning it all instead of just an AFC Championship. That's the next step after
Jamar
that.
Chase was open. He was open.
He was open.
And Aaron Donald is coming back, and my life is ruined. So yeah, we'll get off of that. Our verses this week, I sprung this on you kind of last minute, so I hope that it wasn't too much of a surprise. I loved your lineup, so I'm gonna say that before we say this. Our verses, by the way, it is supposed to be interactive. You are supposed to vote in the stuff that we put on social media. We didn't do it for the first week. I tried to put one out the last week. I would love to get more opinions, but just who do you think puts together the better top 5 list? And we'll go from there. But this week we are doing our Dream Summer Music Festival lineups. I don't know if you've ever been to Coachella or Burning Man or like Stagecoach.
CMA Fest or whatever, yeah.
It's the summertime. I love listening to music a little bit more than podcasts. I hope everybody continues to listen to our show. But when you're listening to music, what would be your top summer lineup that you would ever do? So we have 5 picks. And again, we'll go back and forth on this. So I'll throw this up on the screen. I will let you start because obviously that's how we always do these things. But who would be your number one?
I set this up methodically, okay? I set this up methodically for a couple reasons. Couple reasons because these aren't like my top 5 artists. These are 5 artists that I love, that I absolutely love, and I think they would be incredible. Like I would have had Queen, who you have over there on my list. I would have had some other people. I would have had Zach Bryan, who's one of my all-time listening people.
Nico, I would listen to every single person on your list from now until the time that I ever stop listening to music, and I would be totally fine.
Exactly.
I think I would be okay.
So I'm saying is like I picked a lineup list methodically, step by step here, okay? First off, you started with It Goes Dark, okay? It just picture the nights out, right? You see the moon, you see everything, and the lights go dark, and then you hear I Saw the Line, and the whole fucking stadium goes nuts. And Brooks and Dunn walk out. It's a brand new man, okay? Then you get Neon Light. Then you get get Red Dirt, and then you finish with Red Dirt Road.
Cowgirls Don't Cry. With Reba, with a special feature with Reba.
You get Brooks and Dunn just start to finish. Like when I saw, and look, Brooks and Dunn may have not been on my list if we did this list last year. I saw them.
How upset are you that you didn't see them the night you went to see Morgan Wallen?
I did see Ella, so I really am not going to complain that much.
I know.
I'm not going to complain that much, okay? Because I did see them. But Brooks and Dunn is special, okay? Brooks and Dunn is special, and seeing Ella is also pretty damn cool, okay? But to start with them mainly, and I didn't, like I said, I saw them for the first time last summer at Cheyenne Frontier Days, and my gosh, I was just hooked. I was like, God, there's nothing that hits better than this. The honorable mention that I had, the start that I was considering also to have to start my fest, but I had to go more classic Brooks and Dunn. I was considering Florida Georgia Line there, mainly because we're in a Florida Georgia Line summer because the boys are back.
They're back.
Okay?
They're back. And Nico, I love the songs that they did by themselves, but also when they're back.
They're so much better.
And now they're going to be back together, and they're going to let DK sing by himself.
Give me a stadium tour, please, and I will pay whatever you want. Like there's nothing like
podcast visit. I will back you up. Whatever the tickets cost, we're gonna figure out a way to be there. And by the way, we should bring our girlfriends so that they can.
The first time, by the way, the first time I saw Morgan Wallen live, he opened for Florida Georgia Line back in 2018. So even better on top of that. But to continue on my list because we got a lot to get through here.
We're gonna go back and forth.
Oh, okay. I started with Brooks and Dunn there. So
I'm gonna go Parker McCollum. You saw him the night after Carly and I saw him. We saw him at the Dillon Amphitheater in Vail, Colorado, just outside of Vail, Colorado, in Franklin. I've loved his music. To Be Loved by You is the song that, like, if I'm having a bad day or if anything, I used to have Spotify. I now have Apple Music. That is the song that I go to. I love his music videos. He's just starting to kind of hit that radio kick of becoming more popular. I am very happy. I'm sure that his show at Red Rocks was incredible. I'm very happy that we saw him at the Dillon Amphitheater because, if you paid a certain amount, say like $45, you could have been on the grass and been able to pick where you sat. We paid the $15 to get the general admission tickets. And we're sitting there. It was one of the best concerts that I've been to, and it's one of my favorite artists of all time that I've ever seen. So Parker McCollum is my leadoff because it is like that niche country area. But that is, if I'm going to be true to myself, who would I want to go and travel to see in a summer music festival? If Parker McCollum's the opener, along with the rest of my list, I am fucking started and I am fucking ready to go. I am drinking as much beer as possible because it's about ready to get real. That's what I'm thinking of.
That's a great starter. I went with Brooks and Dunn mainly starting because I needed to start off hot and get the crowd going with it. And I think Parker and Brooks and Dunn both do that. Next on my list, Brooks and Dunn has a song with this guy, 5 4 3 2 1 Too Many. And then you go
Have
right
you heard
into,
his version of Neon Moon?
It's great too.
Not
It's
Neon
wonderful.
Moon. He does have a version of a Brooks and Dunn song that he does. Like I have it on my classroom playlist. It's beautiful.
I think it's brand new man. He does
Brand New Man. Yes, it is.
Like he has lots of songs he's done with them, and obviously he's recorded the songs. Luke Combs, a guy that I consistently just can't believe this guy keeps putting out this good of music, and he's one of the most authentic guys out there. He did, like I could go to a concert for him for 6 hours and probably know every song. Like that's how many great songs this guy has had, and Luke Combs is one. And like I said, I have to transition a little bit the set list a little bit, and Brooks and Dunn gets you the old school twang, and then Luke Combs comes in with just Ain't No Love in Oklahoma and makes the crowd go crazy, and it just gets better and better.
By the way, if you're a college football fan, he has the theme song of the Big 12, Flat on Your Back.
So he has the SEC one too.
Oh, no, that's what it is.
Yeah.
John Party, who I had on my list and I kicked off for my second pick. So I picked Garth Brooks because as I was saying there, I said John Party because I'm a little bit bitter. So I was supposed to see him at Greeley Frontier Days, the festival that was going on there. And I just didn't want to sit through the rain. I'll be flat out honest. We had an hour drive back to the hotel. I didn't want to be sitting there for an hour and a half during the rain and thunderstorm delay. So I kicked him off my list and I put somebody that I have seen. I will say technically 3 times because you'll appreciate this. So my parents saw him in 1996 when my mom was pregnant with me. I saw him in 2014 at Ball Arena. And then I saw him again in 2017 at Empower Field. And I love his music. I sing his songs karaoke first up that I'm on. Garth Brooks, the greatest selling country artist of all time. Like Luke Combs, you're trying to catch Garth Brooks. Brooks and Dunn, you're still trying to catch Garth Brooks. You started 20 years before he ever did, and you still haven't sold close to the amount of records that guy has. He was so famous, he made himself like an alternative Christian rock persona, and it sucked, but still people bought it. It's still one of the highest selling albums of all time. You go from Parker McCollum to, ladies and gentlemen, Ain't Going Down Till the Sun Comes Up. Oh.
My only problem, and I think I realized I had this problem too with my list, is that I don't think Garth Brooks should be the second one.
No, he either needs to be the beginning or the end.
That's what I'm saying. He should be the headliner, or like what was the Jericho thing?
But if he's gonna
matches, if you're on second, you're the bathroom break.
Let's
I don't
be
think
honest.
he deserves to be that.
Is Garth Brooks gonna outperform Michael Jackson? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I've seen Michael Jackson did it from the time he was 11 to the time he was 50 when he died.
Fair.
Like
that's fair.
That's Garth Brooks, amazing, best country performer of all time, but just not there yet.
That's fair. So my number 3, I had to throw in a little rap in there. I was thinking about Drake. I was thinking about.
Thank God you did not pick Drake because he got bodied last summer by Kendrick. They not like us.
But Drake just has so many good songs. Just like I was thinking about Eminem. I'm surprised you didn't have Eminem on your list. Like,
he was a consideration, but I went a little bit more broad.
A little bit more
broad. He's my honorable mention. I would love to see him in concert even still today.
I know that was a shocker for me. But I decided to go post deep because I think it's a good mix of just great rap songs on top of a little bit of country. And then you get a little bit slow songs. You get like Feeling Whitney, right? And you get
you can bring out Blake Shelton, you
Blake
can bring
Shelton's
out Chris Stapleton, you can bring out Brad Paisley, like any single person that he's done any single person, Luke Combs, any person that he's done a song with over the last 2 years, you can be like, oh, here's Luke Combs, and we'll sing this song that I did with him on my last album. Oh, Nico, Tim McGraw. People sleep on the song that he did with Tim McGraw.
Well, there's just so
that
many.
is an amazing song.
He has probably the most amount of range of anyone on both of our lists. Like what he could do with so many different artists and so many different people. I went to John Bellion last week, and I sat there and I only knew like one song, 2 songs. I had a free ticket, and I sat there, and he's this Italian guy, slick back hair, had the glasses. And then he took his shirt off and had these full tattoos and a full beard and a hat frontwards with a basketball jersey on. I was like, am I looking at Post Malone? I was like, and with some jeans on and big boots. Like, am I looking at Post Malone? Like, is that something that I'm seeing? But yeah, Posty is. I mean, he's one of one, and like I said, one of my favorite artists the last 10-15 years. Such good songs. Like when I saw him last summer, I was just like, dude, this dude just doesn't miss. Like there was song after song after song. Even the songs I didn't know, I was like, damn, I need to listen to this song again. And that's what Posty does.
I saw him before his country album, but even seeing him before his country album, Circles, which was in Spider-Man, like
a whole Spider-Man playlist.
I will tell you, I will tell you that is the song that I can play at any of my class periods in middle school. And they will sit down and they will just listen to the words because they love Spider-Man Into the Multiverse and they love that song.
When he came out, it wasn't Circles. It was oh my gosh, it was Sunflower. You're my Sunflower.
No, Sunflowers and Circles are the 2 Post Malone songs that will soothe a 7th grade classroom any single day of the week.
Last summer when we played Sunflower, he was like, yeah, it's like I got the song. Some of you may have heard of it. Like this is for my friend Miles, and just the nerd inside him, he was like, "Fucking Sunflower." It's Miles Morales. Like,
you mean Miles Morales? Miles Morales, the Black Spider-Man, the Black Spider-Man in the multiverse. Spider-Man is in the multiverse.
And my girlfriend was there. Was like, "Who is Miles?" Like, you just don't even know. It's like they just don't. You'll know eventually. But like,
just leave it alone. Leave it alone for now. Leave it alone.
Yeah, everyone's like, "Who is Miles?" I'm like, just. If you know, you know. Okay, is all I'm going to say. It was great.
I am going with Morgan Wallen, and you saw him at a different venue than I did, but he's the best concert that I've seen at Ball Arena because the speakers, I don't know if it's I've seen him, and I've seen a couple of like the Cool 105 oldies concerts at Ball Arena, and I don't know if they set their speakers up differently, if they just have the sound cranked as loud as possible. Nico, this is where I got introduced to Hardy and introduced to Ernest and introduced to all of these really individual specific country artists that I do love. But Morgan Wallen's concert at Ball Arena, from 7 Summers to the album that he most recently put out, 98 Braves. How many times? Go ahead, Nico. Ask me the question. How many times have I heard 98 Braves and seen 2022 Bengals or 2026 Avalanche and like, yep, that makes a whole lot of sense. I get it. Like Morgan Wallen, I didn't like what he did with the piano here in Denver, but his concerts are incredible. And you've seen one, I've seen one. I liked it in the indoor venue. What was he like in the outdoor venue?
Well, I mean, like I had an obstructed view for those that went to that Morgan Wallen's concert. I was like near the entrance and was like behind the stage, so I didn't get to see the front of the stage. But for those people that don't know Morgan Wallen concerts, a dude moves around. We had a front row seat basically because he did 2 songs from the side of the show, from the side of the imagine the stage. You know how artists walk around. He did 2 songs on the side facing us, and it was looking right at us. And he threw a guitar picks in the crowd. It was just great. And I just really was just impressed so much. And a guy that just hits like no other, Morgan Wallen. Like he's just unreal, man. He's just so many good songs.
No, he was definitely, one of the best that I've ever seen. I'm going to let you go a little bit on this next guy because as a fellow Italian, Dago, Frank Sinatra, I know his voice. I know he wasn't the best actor, but just the last 2 that you have on my list, because you picked them, I wasn't able to pick them, but those 2 would have definitely been on my top 5 if Nico hadn't sent me his list before I was able to make mine. I want that to be very clear.
I know it's very different when the person in the graphic has to make the graphics like, oh, well, I can't do that. Well, I can't do that. Luckily, I've been so fucking busy. Jimmy has been luckily cooking with the AI stuff, luckily, and been helping out the graphics. So I went from Post Malone to now we're going to Frank Sinatra. Main the reason why I'm doing that. Like I said earlier, Posty has a little bit slower songs, right? And I am just imagining Posty getting on Fly Me to the Moon. And those two just singing it together, and those two just jamming out. Like there is a crazy thing when you just listen to Frank and you're just sitting there. Like it doesn't matter if you're just sitting at a coffee shop. It doesn't matter if you're just relaxing, or getting ready to work out. Like it's something that just hits with Frank Sinatra. And I mean, I'll say this: like my favorite song of all time, and a song that if I need to get going. And I need to feel like get ready to run through a brick wall, to kill a big test or like kill a big test in high school or college, do play a big game, like get hyped up for something, get a workout going. There is nothing better than My Way. Like I think Jimmy can attest to this. I don't know if he's listening in the bathroom while I'm doing this, but I think when I hear My Way by Frank Sinatra come on, I scream at the top of my fucking lungs that song because there is nothing stronger than feeling like, you know what, through all the ups and downs, through all the twists and turns, I did it my way. And when Frank I'm just imagining Frank coming out with that song and just belting it and just going crazy and all the Italians in the crowd going nuts. And like I said, I think the two people I had him paired with, the person I'm ending for a reason. But the Posty before him was a very methodical choice because I feel like those two could work together a couple songs. And it would be absolutely magical. But yeah, Frank, you could just play him for hours and hours and hours, and I'll just sit there and listen. And I don't need to go crazy after going a little bit. I need to calm down a little bit, right? This is the fourth one. This is the pre-appetizer. This is the appetizer to the main event, okay? And Frank Sinatra deserves more than the appetizer. But when you're trying to slow down the heart rate a little bit, especially after you hear congratulations from Post Malone and Ain't No Love in Oklahoma and Neon Lights, yeah, Frank is the one to do that for you, okay? And he will calm it down a little bit, relax you, and still get you in the mood for anything you want, and then hype you up at the end with My Way.
I love My Way. And we had this year with our wrestling team, we had a senior that he on his playlist, My Way was on it. I was like, you just
Dude, I was so saying, it was like when you were gone there, I don't think there's a better hype song ever than My Way.
But just
I'm serious,
because honestly, Nico, wrestling practices suck. Even if you're good, even if you're one of the best on the team, they suck ass because they're so hard. And we literally have to push you as hard as possible to try and get you better. And when My Way would come on, and you know, I do a little karaoke, so I would give them a little bit of a preview of my voice, but just, you know, regrets. It's what I've had a few because now that Nico, now that we're almost 30, is like then again, because whatever I've done up until this point is what I'm supposed to do, and damn it, Frank said it best. I did it my way.
That's what I'm saying. I cannot emphasize enough. It may be the greatest hype song of all time. Like think about this. The whole city of New York has New York, his song being played throughout the streets for every second of the day for the last however many days it's been since they won the championship. Okay. Like there's something about his songs that just like get you wanting to run through a brick wall, but also lay down and have a nice tea for dinner or before you go to bed or drink some wine. Like just have some gabagool. Like that's just what Frank does.
You are so close, but here's what I'm going to do to you. I'm going to give you another song that everybody can get behind. Are you ready? I'm just going to let the microphone go from here. Ready?
That's my other headliner. It's like if I didn't have my headliner, Clean would have been the headliner.
I was surprised when Nico sent me his list. I was like, thank God I could slide them in here just for co-main event. And they start Frank Sinatra. If we're doing Battle of the Band style, which we didn't say this is what it's going to happen, but I'm sure when people are making their decisions on their voting list, they're going to think of this as Battle of the Bands. When Frank Sinatra finishes, what is Freddie Mercury and Queen going to start off with? It's not going to be Killer Queen. it's not going to be Bohemian Rhapsody. It's going to be the song that, by the way, finished Nico's favorite movie, The Mighty Ducks.
Yes, and has just banger after banger of song of just greatness. Like
Mama just killed a man, Nico. Ooh,
like Queen. I wanted to put Queen on here so bad, but I respect Queen too much to put it in my fourth slot. Let me just put that out there, okay? I love Frank, but I can't put Freddie fourth. I just can't. Like it's just special what Queen does. And that's a band that I really wish, as Messi scores the second goal again, by the way. This is Messi's World Cup. I cannot emphasize enough how much Queen just means to me in this generation of rock stars, because that is our rock band and just the epitome of coolness.
that was my favorite part. I have watched all of the Pitch Perfect movies because I am an acapella. Like, I'm a geek. I'm a geek outside of my sports knowledge, but just watching those movies and acapella is singing. You think you're better a lyricist than Sir Mix-a-Lot, a man who was knighted by Queen? No, you're not. I'm going to go with my last one because my guy married your guy's daughter and was married to her for a few years.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, Lisa Marie Presley was Michael Jackson's wife for a little bit of time. None of his kids are from Lisa Marie Presley. Yeah. It was the wife after that. But just, obviously I could have played into the Michael hype, and I've tried to be as open and honest as possible about that. Rewatching the movie reignited what I had for Michael Jackson. When he died, I remember we went over to my friend's house who played on Broomfield, because that's how long ago that it was. I did not even know Nico at the point that Michael Jackson died. But we went over to my teammate's house in Broomfield, and we literally watched Thriller. That was the first time that I ever saw Thriller, was sitting in Angelo Alvarado's living room. And then just all of the other music videos. The Way You Make Me Feel is still one of my favorite songs. Just like, yes, you can say that I'm picking the pandering pick for the biopic that just came out, but I have loved Michael Jackson for a long time, and I am very upset with myself that I bought into all of the rumors and all of the stuff that was going on and everything like that. If you believe that, hopefully you do your own research and try and come out to your own explanation. But just Michael Jackson is my finisher after Queen. So Bohemian Rhapsody ends, and then we get the opening 3 notes to Thriller, the door creaking open. I was seeing this. Michael Jackson is to what Halloween is what Mariah Carey is to Christmas. If Michael Jackson never put out Thriller, Halloween isn't as big of a holiday as it is.
I don't know about that, but he is the face of every single Halloween movie, every single TV show. Like, they always play Thriller. Like think about that. Every Halloween show from now on, it's ever created or people watch or whatever, right? That's not like a horror movie or something. It will have Thriller, and there's a new generation of fans that will know Michael Jackson from Halloween. Basically, that's it, and that's just that's crazy. The whole holiday, and he has a whole holiday, and he's just an all-time legend too. The amount of great songs he has is incredible. My closer, the one biggest regret.
You screwed me, because Elvis sang my parents' Isle song in their wedding, my brother's Isle song at his wedding, the funeral song that we gave to my grandfather because my grandmother is such a big Elvis fan. Like, I could not. Nico, I went to the movie that they had in just select theaters of the last concert that he ever did. And I sat there for 3 hours and I watched a film from 1978 of Elvis's concert from Las Vegas. And I was literally enthralled from the entire thing. So what I said about Michael Jackson is correct. He is one of the greatest entertainers of all time. He does not come close to the guy that you have closing your set. I will be honest.
Michael Jackson does not have 1,000 impersonators on the strip in Las Vegas of himself. Okay,
he has 100. He has about 100. I will give him about a divided by 10.
And he doesn't have people dressed like him marry them. Okay, he doesn't have all of that. Elvis has that motion. He is him. Okay, that is the definition of him. There's one regret that I have with being born of when I was born, was that I never got to see Elvis. Okay, and Elvis is just one of those people that just you hear every song. He's like, damn, that's a good song. He's like, you hear Hound Dog. I dressed up as Elvis in one my fucking second grade talent show, okay, for my music class because I dressed up as Elvis, had my brand new baby English Bulldog dance with me as I was dancing to Hound Dog, okay, in second grade.
You ain't
That's all I
nothing
want.
but a hound dog.
Can't help falling in love. Can't miss, okay? You fall in love, you're like, fuck, this
That
song
was-
does not miss.
That was
Burning-
the song that I was saying. That's my parents' wedding song. That's my grandparents' wedding song. That's my brother and his
So-
wife's wedding song. Can't
it's
help falling in
so-
love with you.
so
Oh my
good.
God.
So good. And then you get the Burning Love, which I think is one of the most underrated songs Elvis has ever put out.
The Rock.
The Rock
made
Rock
sure that we remembered.
with the game plan. And I'm just like, damn, this song is so
Only
good.
fools
It's so
I'm a
so
hunka
good.
hunka burning.
And then you have Jailhouse Rock, where the whole thing and a little less conversation, like in the ghetto, if you want to get in your feels, like
the South Park fans in the ghetto.
he is like one of those artists that I just sit there being like, yeah, mate, if I'm in the mood, I want to put Frank on, I want to put Elvis on. It's like if I'm just casually sitting somewhere, it's Elvis, it's Frank, it's all those, because it's just nothing but banger after banger after banger. And I will say this is like we talked about the Michael Jackson biopic, right? And you were a big fan of it. This is how much I loved Elvis. I fucking hated the Elvis movie. I thought they did such a disservice to Elvis.
They should have kept his manager out of that fucking movie.
I do not sign up for an Elvis manager movie, okay? I signed up for fucking Elvis to sing and do shit.
As
and not
much as
just-
Jermaine had to do with the Michael biopic, he kept himself out of that fucking picture.
He
He
did
made
not.
sure that he was the behind the scenes making money. Colonel Tom Parker is a fucking snake.
I
If
did not
anybody has
sign up
any
for
other
that.
opinion about that you just don't know what you're talking about.
I did not sign up for a Tom Hanks, Colonel Tom Parker movie, okay? I signed up for fucking Elvis Presley. And I sat there being like, the most I get from Elvis is like him singing a couple songs and just like arguing with his manager and
Like I
getting high
said,
and,
I watched one
I'm
of the,
sorry, I
the
realize it's part of it,
documentary.
but like
One of the documentary films from his concert in Vegas. It was 3.5 hours long. I took my grandmother to see it because she was a part of the generation that the nuns at Catholic school told her, if you see Elvis, you're going to hell. So she wanted to see the movie as bad as anything. And I took her to see that movie, and it was 3.5 hours long. So the Elvis biopic pales in comparison to the Michael biopic.
Pales.
And by the way, Michael is going to have a Michael 2 come out, which has Bad, which has Dangerous, which has This Is It. Like there's a whole other story that we have to talk about Michael Jackson's life. Yeah, I agree with you. The Elvis biopic pales in comparison.
It took me a while. I haven't seen the Michael one, but it took me a while to watch the Elvis one. And when I did, I was sitting on a plane. I sat there being like, is this say Elvis? Is that the Elvis movie? Or is this a movie
like
about
you said, you
Tom
had no
Hanks?
idea
Like,
that his daughter married Michael Jackson.
No, I didn't know about any of this. I knew about one deal about how he got brokered out of a stupid deal, and that's it. And how this guy owned all of his stuff. That's all I did. I didn't hear about any of their stories about his family. I didn't hear about stories about like half the things about him coming up. I heard about a few clips of things, and that's it. And I was like pissed off. I was like, shit, this is not what the King of Rock. Like this is not what I was expecting. So I mean, and Elvis was just like one of one special, and I have to close it with him because there's no other place. The Elvis closes the show. Like there's like as good as everyone I put on this list before me, there is no other person. I think every single person on this list would agree. Yeah, Elvis is closing the show out. He is the guy that is putting on the show to make everyone go crazy and just everyone fall in love again or go nuts, and that's what Elvis did.
You think Ain't No Love in Oklahoma is gonna follow up Hound Dog?
No, hell no, it's not. It's not. I love Luke. I
do too.
I love Luke.
I love Luke as much as the next guy.
Love Luke, but it ain't doing that.
No,
it ain't doing that.
There ain't no way. And that's the beautiful part about this. Hopefully, you make sure you vote at FEOTV.
I want to throw in my honorable mentions here because I think there is a couple that it really hurt to not throw in. But I feel like I had to have a certain flow to this, and I just didn't work with it. One was Johnny Cash. Okay, I would have loved to put Johnny Cash on here. I think it was either between him and Frank, and I had to throw Frank in there because I needed a little bit of that, and I think that's the direction that would have gone. A song with Posty and Johnny Cash would have gone fucking nuclear. So that would have been electric, though, to throw him in that slot, but I decided to go the Frank Sinatra route. I said Florida Georgia Line earlier. I said Zach Bryan earlier, a couple of those. The other one, I was thinking 2 female artists, and the first one was going to be Lainey Wilson.
Oh, I was gonna say let's say the other one at the same time. Ready? 1, 2,
2,
3.
Taylor
Ella
Swift.
Langley.
Oh, okay. Ella's got motion. Okay,
Come on, baby.
Ella's got motion. Taylor Swift has that, okay? And that's why and look, Taylor Swift would be the closer of this show, or else we'd have a whole generation or whole group of fans just absolutely hate our show. And they probably already do because of how much I hate the Chiefs. Okay. So and that's why I was like, all right, well, do I throw Taylor in here? I was like, well, she can't really open because I don't really want her opening slow. I'd rather have Brooks and Dunn on. I was like, well, I can't really have her closing because it's fucking Elvis, okay? And I can't do that to Elvis. If we were doing this opposite and I was making a list and you had Elvis, I probably would have considered it a lot more, her closing out the show. But I think she deserves a recognition of being in the conversation as well on these lists. I just felt like the way my set list was going and the set of artists and my festival, I just felt like it wasn't the right speed.
You can definitely tell who's running the social media and who's not because I said Ella Langley. And yeah, you're right. Taylor Swift. She made $2 billion off of her last tour. Obviously, she should be the one closing your festival. But if you're going for the TikTok views, yeah, Ella Langley. Come on, baby.
It is Ella.
She's Tuesday, Texas, I can tell by.
At that concert last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, the Morgan Wallen concert, I kid you not, the crowd erupted when Ella came out. After Morgan finished his set, I heard Ella chants, waiting for the encore.
And it was a lot of guys. The Ella fellas are real.
Very real. And everyone just going crazy, being like, you better play her and her song. That's all I'm saying. And they did. That was the first song after the first ending to it and then the encore. So, yeah, it was worth it.
And now we get to go into our weekly awards. We're right at the end. I thought the summer episode wasn't going to take that long, and we ended up going another 2 hours. But who is your weekly awards? Who do you have winning your player and benchwarmer of the week?
It's Mr. Not 1A. It's Jalen Brunson. 45 points in Game 5. I mean, like, to put your team on the back, the NBA Finals MVP.
He did shoot an abysmal percentage, but does that matter when you're scoring 40
points? It does
points?
not fucking matter because you won a championship and you are the guy, okay? You're the guy. You're the face of New York. I kid you not. This guy will be talked about in the Jeter conversations. And I know you're a baseball guy. I know you're a Yankees fan, okay? The Knicks are what the Knicks are. And Brunson will be talked about for centuries and centuries, like they talk about Jeter, like they talk about Babe Ruth, like they talk about Eli Manning, like they talk about all those greats. Brunson is in that conversation now. And to have the biggest city in America and maybe even the world, some people say, and to have the face of it, a guy from Villanova, a guy that was left for dead from your fast franchise and say, we don't want you anymore, go sign somewhere else. And to do that, it's as cool of a story as it comes. So Jalen Brunson is my player of the week.
Sixers fans who are also Villanova fans, how sick are you right now? Because he's won 2 college national championships, but he also just won a world championship and an MVP for a team that nobody ever thought was going to win an NBA championship.
It is very funny, like all the Nova Knicks conversations, because like you look at all those Knicks guys, they're all not New York football fans. Hart is a Nova and Philadelphia guy, so he's an Eagles fan. Cat is an Eagles fan. Josh Hart is a Commanders fan because he's from DC. You see all those guys. Eagles fans are celebrating it as their own, basically, because they take away something from it. Brunson, it's well deserved, and he is a guy who will be etched forever in the history books of New York and the world of basketball. My benchwarmer of the week, I touched on it earlier. I don't know how you're the number 2 or number 3 ranked team in the world, and you face a country that has never set foot on the same pitch as you. Never. And a country that is the size of Rhode Island, okay, in terms of population. I think it might have less people, actually, okay? And they come in and they tie you. You can't get one goal. Like, I wanted my player of the week to be the Cape Verde goalie, but I had to do Brunson, but I cannot believe that Spain did this. I cannot believe Spain did this, and the fact that they just fell apart, and that when you look at other teams that have been dominating in the tournament so far, Spain is dropped in the power rankings. Like you think of what France did against Senegal. France dominated. What Germany did, they dominated, right? You have Portugal coming up. They'll probably play pretty well. You'll have like Spain doesn't deserve to be in the conversation. Argentina's dominating. Spain doesn't deserve to be in the conversation because when they had a chance to build a lead, everyone's not going to be like, it's going to be 7-0. Oh, they'll beat them worse than Germany beat Curacao, and then they don't even do that, and they can't even get a goal, and they have to split points with the team that's from a country that I bet you most of Spain and Spanish fans can't even put on a map. That's pretty impressive. Curacao, and horrible for the Spaniards.
You were picked as one of the team. I said they were my third pick in one of the shows that I went on a guest appearance. Nico said they were one of the top 2 picks that he had. That was definitely not the performance that people wanted to see. My weekly awards, my player of the week goes to a guy that we mentioned a few times. He is an Erie, Colorado native. He went to Erie High School. Erie is about 45 to an hour away from Denver. So he is not a Denver guy. He is from northern Colorado. He probably grew up on a farm. That's what I tell my wrestlers. Like when you wrestle these small town kids, when you lose a tournament, you're going home and playing NBA 2K for the next 5 hours. When they lose a tournament from Erie, they go home to the farm and they have to do chores. So they're playing harder than you ever did. And he is the first guy that in a long time that is an Olympic gold medal and a Stanley Cup champion. So he is my player of the week. My benchwarmer of the week is Monks, because I know you saw the post-game press conference. See you never. Is that an English language translation, or is he saying, like, I'm just going to go live with the Monks full time? Like, I don't want to do this anymore.
But by the way, for those keeping track, Messi now is a hat trick. Fuck, Argentina is stacked. This guy plays in the MLS. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm watching the
Miami.
It's in Miami. Stand up. The Monks, people are the Wemby conversation. It's not the alien. It's I forgot what it was like something with If Man, but it was Wemby Man. Like it was something along those lines. I can't remember what they're calling Wemby, but like they're calling him the playoff choker and the playoff downgrader because the dude won a championship, quote unquote, because he beat Oklahoma City. He cried after winning Oklahoma City, beating them, and then he forgot, I have to win another 4 games against a team that owns me in a city that basically is attacking your whole country. like that's how badly they were going after you, and you just did nothing to it. I don't blame you for the Monks.
It was a good thing for him, except that he did have the elbow against Naz Reid, and like there's a lot of things that he's done in this playoff.
Shoving Brunson to the ground.
Yeah, he's probably not as centered as you would like him to be. If he's a true Buddhist, there should be no violence. I'm going to get in the paint. I'm going to put this layup in over the guys that are 4 feet shorter than me. But that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure I put the layup in the hoop, and that's all I'm going to do because I'm a French and I'm a Shaolin monk.
It is very funny because, France played in East Rutherford today, Tuesday I was recording this, against Senegal. Less than 4 days ago. The whole city of New York was like, fuck France. Like, we're coming for you. You're screwed because Wemby can't handle the pressure. It's very funny the way the World Cup is going after certain things, and especially during the time of the NBA Finals, like it's making cinema. Is all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, it's a great thing, and we forgot to mention this. I forgot to mention this in the segment that we had planned for it. But as we're coming to the end of the show, we are now a part of the All Gloves Off Sports Network. So we are going to be available on their YouTube channel. So if you're a true benchwarmer that's subscribed and followed from day one, doesn't do anything for you, continue to follow on all audio platforms, continue to subscribe to our YouTube channel. But you can also subscribe to the All Gloves Off Sports Network, and you can see our episodes 24 hours after they come out on our normal feeds. That is going to be what we were talking about the last few weeks with the difference in how the shows are going to look. That will be happening next week. Will be our first episode affiliated with them, but just giving everybody an announcement. It doesn't change anything if you're listening to this show, but if you are new, welcome. Become a benchwarmer. Make sure you subscribe. Follow us at FEOTV Pod and all that good stuff. We are into our summer episodes, so the verses are going to become much more important moving forward. Make sure you're following and voting in those polls as they come out.
Absolutely. We're excited to be part of it, and excited continuing doing what we love doing, and us doing this and talking about everything in the worldwide of sports and a wide world of sports and everything else in between.
It's been an awesome 6 years so far. This is just a new version, new wrinkle of everything that you're seeing. This has been episode 279 of the Far End of the Bench podcast. For myself, Jimmy Pilato, my co-host, Nico Bryant, we will see you guys next week.
Peace.
If you don't stay down and you never quit, come on over here and sit on the far end of the bench.